welcome to a new episode of the Game Informer Show podcast. I'm your host, Ben Hansen, joined by Cyril Vasquez.
Hi.
Joe Juba.
Hi.
Jeff Cork.
Ma.
What a fun episode.
It's the funnest.
All right, what we're talking about today is the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit, the kind of sort of prequel to Life is Strange Part 2.
Yeah, no kind of sort of about it.
Okay, all right, we'll dive into that. It should be interesting. A little bit about Lumines, Cyril Vasquez, Lumines expert.
Remastered.
Holy God. Some odds and ends, maybe Westworld a little bit here with our good friend Jeff Cork. And then Javy Gwaltney and lovely intern Derek Swinhart are coming in to talk about Prey's Mooncrash DLC, which despite 3/4 of that conversation, it turns out, is not standalone. I thought it was the entire time, but it is paid DLC for Prey. And then also, Javy went on an adventure where he went to Germany and Kuwait. Javy Gwaltney went to Kuwait, which is a funny combination of letters, with the USO. Visited some troops over there and played Call of Duty with them, talked about games. It's a weird adventure, but it's a cool one that he went on and actually wrote about.
People voluntarily jumped into the brig. Spend time with Javy Gwaltney. He said, "Is there some potatoes I could be peeling instead?" This lanky goofball.
I sure could do some push-ups right now.
I'll drop and give you as many as you need me to.
Anyways, he wrote a wonderful piece called Coping with War. You can check it out. But we talk about his trip and just kind of gaming in the military overall. I think it's an interesting topic that I didn't really know too much about. So we got emails to support that and all that stuff. Then we have even more community emails. Back half of the show, you probably haven't heard of it, but there's a game that came out last week called Jurassic World Revealed. Joe, why wouldn't we have heard of this game?
Oh, because it's on everyone's favorite gaming platform, Amazon Alexa.
The Echo thing. So it's an audio game. So in the back half of the show, basically we're doing a pseudo sequel to the God of War text adventure, which we tried and just pathetically failed at a while ago. We're bringing it back for this Jurassic World game, which is a weird thing, but it's created by the co-director of Day the Tentacle.
Oh, okay.
Cork, so it's got some talent behind it. Does that shine through, Joe?
No.
Jurassic World Revealed, everybody. Back up the show. It's a fun time. Also want to tease next week's episode. We're going to be talking about Game Informer's next cover story. So as you're grilling outside, 4th of July weekend, all that stuff, pop in your earbuds, listen to Cyril Vasquez maybe talk about Game Informer's next cover story. That should be fun. Okay, for now, Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. Okay, this is Don't Nod from the creators of Vampire.
Yeah, let's talk about them more in the context of the original creators of Life is Strange.
Right. So so they released that Life is Strange prequel, but that was a different developer, right?
Right. So Life is Strange, the original series starring like Max and Chloe, was Don't Nod. And then Deck 9 did the prequel trilogy, or the prequel, well, there was a trilogy, but the
3 episodes
that dealt with Chloe and Rachel Amber.
Right.
And now, and they announced this last year too, that Don't Nod is working on Life is Strange 2. And this is like our first taste of that.
It's very strange. It's basically the PT approach where they have a completely free chunk that you can play now, which
It's literally a playable teaser.
It really is a playable teaser. It's really weird. Like, it took me like an hour and a half to get through. What about you guys?
Yeah, about that. Hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay. All right. That's really if you dig through all this stuff. But it's a strange approach. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know if it's hitting that audience, but it's free. You can find it on everything. You might have to I think Reiner's having a tough time finding it because you have to look into like the free section, which on console stores is just a nightmare. But somewhere in there buried is Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. But Joe, what did you think about this thing?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Actually, I like the Life is Strange games in general, and this is one of those. As they described at E3, they sort of see it as a universe of stories rather than just like the story of Chloe or Max or whatever. And I think this does a good job of sort of retaining that vibe. I mean, there's definitely a lot of like mopey acoustic guitar music in the background.
As the camera just jumps to different stills of like a babbling brook and some trees. Yeah. It's the cheapest production you can have in the game.
But let me tell you, I eat that up. Like I really love that vibe for Life is Strange.
It's unique, yeah.
Yeah. So, or it's like option, like press A to sit in this treehouse and sadly look over your yard as some indie music plays or something. It's like, yeah.
So did you like? One of the things you can do is when you go into your dad's room, you can listen to a record.
Oh, yeah.
Did you do that and listen to it in its entirety?
Mm-hmm. Not the entirety, but listen to it and it's like, oh, that was your mom's favorite song. There's some
your
comment
mom's
about
favorite
that.
song, and we're kind of jumping around here.
That's fine.
You're welcome. But it shows like at one point the camera shows your dad who at this point is getting increasingly intoxicated as he's watching a basketball game.
Yeah.
And he's got his stats notebook, and he has paused the game in a way that you could see, like, he's looking at the stadium, and he's, like, sketching it out. You never see what he's actually drawing, but it's just, like, his wife, who is dead.
No, he's drawing he's recording stuff in his stats notebook.
Oh, okay.
That's what he's doing there. Yeah,
Because I couldn't peer over his shoulder. I thought he was drawing it.
No, I think he's just like writing down some stats.
All right, never mind. He continues to be a big dumb
basic framework here. You're playing a little kid.
Here's the premise: is that where most Life is Strange games are sort of built on this premise of like it being a multiple, like episodic arc that follows a sort of narrative thread, character development, etc. What I like about Captain Spirit is that it's a much more sort of like free form look. It's more of just a snapshot of a story than it is an actual like narrative arc.
Yeah,
So-
including like kind of like an immersive theater type of approach where it's pretty early on. It's just like, hey, here's the house and the outside. Here's like, you can open up an objective window if you want to. But other than that, it's kind of just, hey, explore. A couple things will be triggered along the way. But like in terms of like key triggers, it's like 3 or 4
If
to
even.
finish this thing off.
Yeah. I mean, you play a 10-year-old boy named Chris, whose mom died a few years prior to the start of the game, and it's just a look at like a Saturday morning in his house with him and his dad. Except, as Jeff mentioned, his dad's getting progressively like drunker. It's this really sort of sad look because it's like he's a good kid. And he's generally a happy kid.
Basically Andy from Toy Story.
But he also lacks the maturity and the perspective to actually see how bad his situation is and like how toxic his relationship with his dad is.
Yeah, but I think where it differentiates itself from something that kind of had a similar setup recently with Detroit Become Human, which Joe, I know you played and enjoyed overall, apparently. But like it's the most subtle writing I've seen from the Life is Strange series so far, at least compared to like that first season. And I like that even though the dad, he's not great, but he's not over the top, stupid evil. He still like plays with the kid every once in a while. They like joke about like, oh, you got me with your zombie gun. Like they're still playful. It's not too over the top.
Well, no, but I mean, like Jeff and I were talking about this earlier. Is like I think that makes it more insidious because
interesting.
like this is like make no bones about this. Like his dad is abusive.
Yeah.
Like there's a part when they're talking and like his dad is apologizing and wondering if anyone noticed bruises on Chris's arm.
Right.
Like if there is more than just like there is physical abuse going on. And that is a thing that like, I mean, for me, that just flips a switch. Like this is not a character that's like a character I'm going to like or it is redeemable. And I guess at that point there's the look at it like, even though it inserts those playful moments, those just feel like sadder because of that.
Yeah, I think that's true. I just like the idea that he's not like, get over here, you little dumb crapper, and he's like breaking bottles against the wall and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's a more somber take on it.
Yeah, and it's different because like you say, most of the times they're just these big like alcoholic or abusive characters are just are
they're portrayed without subtlety.
Yeah, they're just cartoonishly evil, and this is a more realistic evil, but it's still evil, and I still think that comes through.
Yeah, it's difficult to say like without, because at the end of the thing it does say Chris will return in Life is Strange 2.
Pre-order now.
Exactly. Just please buy this. Here's a shopping cart. So we don't have a greater context for Chris's role in this world. I hope that it earns the drunk dad thing. Because honestly, it seems like there's already enough tragedy in Chris's life, just the fact that his mother died. And I again, without having greater context, my inclination is like, really, you had to do the drunk dad thing? Like, it's been done time and time again. It seems like not easy, but a kind of low-hanging fruit in terms of like a ringing drama from a situation that I think is already going to have a problem. It has enough potential there to begin with.
Yeah, my hope, because they say Chris will return, but they don't say that Chris is the main character.
Right.
So
I hope he's a side character.
He might be a side character or something, but they also don't. They're not explicit about like where in the timeline Life is Strange 2 is. So what if this is 10-year-old Chris's story and we pick up with like 18-year-old Chris graduating high school?
That's
or
really interesting,
like that,
actually. If you think about it, is there anything that locks it down in a certain time and place other than...
I mean, we know what year it's set in.
Okay, and also like
It's
the
like
dad has a
20
bunch of trophies. It's like 2005
It's
is
like
when he
set in
graduated.
like 2017.
Okay,
But I don't think it's outlandish for them to do like a near future sort of thing. You know, if it's
that's not what I want from Life is Strange. I like that. like,
Cyberpunk.
yeah.
no. I mean, seriously, if a game is set in 2025 or something like that, it's not like they're gonna have flying cars and everything outlandish. Like I
Yeah.
think,
I bet it's not. I bet he's just a supporting character.
I'm just
moving
saying
forward.
it's possible.
You're right. No, it totally is possible. Quark, did you enjoy the experience overall?
Loved it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that I was happy to see that they are kind of shifting away from just this being the Max and Chloe story, which as much as I enjoy those characters, I like the idea of just kind of treating it like little mini episodic arcs that focus on other people and places in this world.
Like if Life is Strange 2 was just a series of these, I'd be cool with it.
But I thought like the Walking Dead chapter that was just like that one episode that had like 5 little short stories.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
40th day or
40 days, something like that.
had the
God, I haven't thought about that
before
forever. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love just short little brief stories like that.
Yeah.
And I think this was perfect. Like it reminded me of Boyhood a lot in that way.
Oh,
Just kind of
interesting.
like a sad, just like a lonely kid. And I really enjoy watching lonely kids, apparently.
How do you guys feel about sort of the shift away from like, because when I first heard about Life is Strange, like the whole thing was, oh, she can rewind time and you can go back and remake choices, and it feels like
Right.
in both Before the Storm and this, like that is just completely, laid by the wayside. Like it's not even a thing, and it's
I
just
actually I
feels
didn't
like
miss it too much. They try and do something interesting where like he really likes superheroes, this little kid, and so you can like hold LT and that'll give you like superhero options for like, oh, put on the cape with this item here, or here's I can make your superhero helmet, and so it kind of has 2 ways of approaching things, which kind of makes it a little more interesting than just a one note adventure game.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about it. But beyond that, I think where it really sort of sets itself apart in that more like imaginative realm is the fact isn't just like press A to like irradiate your mac and cheese, like pretend like you're cooking it with your mind.
Yeah.
Because there are moments like that, and those sort of, to me, like add authenticity. I remember as a kid doing that stuff when it's like I throw a log in the fire and pretend that I'm like mind burning it or something.
up,
anyway,
Joey.
what point? But where this I think really sets itself apart is the way it sort of makes this jump between like Chris's reality and the sort of fantasy that he goes to is, well, maybe not even consciously, but the fantasy he goes to sort of get away from his circumstances.
It's a lot of like the opening of Toy Story 3,
or
where it's like,
Costume
hey
Quest.
there, cowboy. Yeah, a little bit.
It reminded me, if you've read like the old Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, sure.
Calvin and Hobbes comics. It reminds me a little bit of like Calvin's sort of spaceman spiff thing, where he's just like pretending he's off, having crazy adventures, and the game itself sort of goes back and forth between looking at like the reality and then sort of transitioning into this more fantastical representation of like the fantasy that's happening.
Right. And kind of like remember in Home Alone when Macaulay Culkin like goes in the basement and like the furnace down there scares him and it looks like a face? They basically do that thing as well here. And also he kind of does look like Macaulay Culkin in general.
Yeah.
This dopey little kid. But you ended up giving it an 8.5?
I did, yeah. I mean, in my mind, it is the best like single episode of Life is Strange.
And it's free.
Yeah.
If you want a mopey adventure game, no
It's
reason not
super
to
good.
check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Also, what did you think about that announcement even before Vampire came out, I think, of Don't Nod's Twin Mirrors? Have you seen that, Joe?
Yeah.
Are you excited for that?
I don't know. Like at this point, I'm more excited about Life is Strange as a series than I am specifically about, I mean, as the guy who reviewed Vampire,
Yeah.
I'm more excited about Life is Strange than I am about that, developer's
output.
particular output.
Yeah. What'd you end up giving Vampire, by the way?
6.
I think you did give it a 6.
Yeah.
So overall, the more time you spent with it, it was just like good ideas, but woof.
Yeah, and I know that game has some defenders out there, and
Yeah,
it
for
is,
sure.
And it definitely has some interesting concepts. But to me, like they did not, the concepts did not ultimately have a chance to like shine through.
Yeah. You know what is shining these days? In a brand new remastered version, Jeff Cork.
Oh my goodness. Are we talking about...
That's the first song, even.
Is it really?
Yeah, the
Shining.
first skin is shining.
Wow. Does everybody love Luminous at this table? Did you all play it on PSP?
I played the crap.
I
out
didn't
of it.
play the original, which is why I'm excited about this remaster.
Oh, but you started playing it last night?
Yeah, well, I mean, I played the Vita one, and I love that one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Joe just snickered.
What's wrong, Joe?
Sorry.
Share it with the rest of the class.
No. It's just like, to me,
Joe, you need to say what you're
You
thinking.
monster. You're hurting Serial's feelings.
it's just that this is nothing against Surreal.
Oh,
here
my
it comes.
God.
I had
no.
that flash when someone's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of Mario. I've been playing Mario since Mario 64."
Are you calling him a fake ass gamer?
To be fair,
no,
my-
not at all.
fake
And
gamer
like I
boy.
said, I just had a flash of it, and that's what made me like smile.
Look,
a
I'm
little
sorry
bit,
for
and
this
you guys
personal
laughed at
attack,
it.
Suriel.
My first Lumines experience was Lumines Live for the Xbox. The demo
no,
of that,
careful.
which I played for like
All right.
5 hours. Like I would just play that demo over and over again.
I-
And it had some of the same songs actually.
I read previews for the first one for Mizuguchi back in the day, so I'm hardcore as hell.
Okay.
I played that racing game he made or whatever.
It was not meant to be a condescending smirk or anything. It was just a little thought that it was
No,
amusing.
but like, yeah, I'm really glad this is coming back because I bought my first PSP was a PSP Go, so I was always waiting for like, okay, one day they're gonna release a digital version of the original
Oh,
Lumines.
weird. Okay.
What everyone says is the best PSP game.
Yeah.
and they never did. So I threw my PSP Go in the trash. No, I eventually had to wait until the Vita one.
And threw your PSP Go in the trash for other reasons.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I sold it for my Vita actually.
Okay.
God, I feel so detached because I've never been a handheld PlayStation guy, and so I feel like it's just every once in a while it's a they live situation where you realize everyone around me is a Lumines fan. Like, I don't know anybody that played that, like amongst friends, but there is that crazy fan base, and it came out a little bit when they released it on iOS a couple years ago. Everyone's like, "Huzzah, Lumines!" And now with the remaster, where it's out on Switch, it's out on every console, it's out on Steam. Seems like everybody gets one more go of like, "F yeah, this game rules." It's basically, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a Tetris, kind of like a chime. You make blocks and the music's great, is the overall idea. But
And a line.
ooh,
Yeah.
the lines.
Yeah.
What do you guys like about it?
All the things you said, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it taps into a similar thing that Tetris does, right? That sense of like planning ahead a little bit for pieces that you know may or may not be coming. The rhythmic element of the music is interesting because it changes how the game sort of responds.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not just like a soundtrack. It's the fact that with different songs in the background, the sweep might go across the screen faster or slower, or
Yeah.
the blocks might drop faster or slower.
Or during the shake your body skin, it becomes very intrusive of what they want you to do.
Yeah.
And how it appears on the screen, basically cluttering up the interface a little bit.
Yeah. And that's part of the challenge is like dealing with like the different visual anomalies of different skins too. I don't know the name of it. There's one in particular that like it's really hard for me to discern the difference between the two colors. So, because like one's kind of grayish and one's kind of grayish blue.
Impossible.
Anyway,
There's one that's just circles instead of squares, and that one always trips me up for whatever reason. It feels like the game becomes worse when that skin, like, even though it's just completely visual, it's just like having to match up circles instead of squares like throws me off for whatever reason.
It's funny.
and everyone sort of has their nemesis skins also, right?
Oh, really?
And it's not the same for everyone, but like everyone has those one or two when they come up, and it's just like, oh no, not this one, and then you just sort of like grit your teeth and get through it and hope to get to the next one.
But like most of the skins are like, aesthetically like really
oh
nice.
yeah, they're good. Some of
wonderful.
them are just harder. I think harder for certain people to get through.
Yeah,
So.
it's funny they released that Switch version, and Mizuguchi, he's the guy with Res Infinite where they made like the full vibrating suit thing that like traveled around to shows. I got to play it in like a Tokyo art museum, which was a very surreal experience. And then for the Switch version for Lumines here, you can sync up 8 Joy-Cons. So you can have them all HD rumbling across your entire body. If you want to shove a couple in your shoes, 3 up your butt, 1 in your mouth. Like it's just such a
That's the
weird
combo.
idea.
I think his dream is to transform into that monster from Jacob's Ladder who was just vibrating so much you just see him in the back of the cars that's driving away.
No. Not familiar, but I'm sure it's a killer reference. What is Jacob's Ladder?
You see Jacob's Ladder? What the is wrong with
No,
you?
what is that?
It's just like one of the best psychological horror movies ever.
Really? Is it like some 70s stuff?
No, it's what's his name? Tim.
Alan.
No, God.
Murphy.
You ever seen Jacob's Ladder?
No.
should
Has
watch
anybody
it.
at this table seen Jacob's Ladder?
Actually,
No,
It's
I haven't.
basically
Oh, Leo in the booth! Is Jacob's Ladder good?
It's so good.
yeah, it's basically
It rules.
Silent Hill is a huge like offspring of that.
Oh,
If you watch
really?
that, if you like hospitals with chain link fences and all that weird like visual aesthetic comes from Jacob's Ladder. The whole like sensibility of like character like vibrating and looking super trippy. That's from that. Yeah.
Oh, really? Podcastgameinformer.com with your review of Jacob's Ladder after you watch it, after Jeff Cork demands
feel free to like blast Ben Hansen for never.
I've heard it referenced, but I've never heard like no, seriously, you need to watch it about Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay, there we go. Lumines Remastered, good time, and it's cheap too. It's like
$15.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. There's
like
nothing
Netflix
about
for 2 months, and you could probably watch Jacob's Ladder.
there's nothing in particular about this version from the time that I've spent with it that is like, oh wow, this is leagues beyond previous ones for whatever reason. But it's like I can play it on a different.
They made
system.
the last one for the Vita,
and they got all the songs in there again. I think some fans were worried they're going to cut stuff, but it seems like those are intact.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an in-depth list, but I know it. I mean, it hit all my favorites. So.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Also, it reminded me of how good that first song is in Tetris Effect. Cyril, did you play Tetris Effect?
I played it. Yeah.
Okay, 83. The first song in that game is stupid good. Stupid good. Please look.
Almost a few bars, would you?
That's not humming, that's singing.
That's true. Can't stop me, Papa. Hey, Joe, did you see this news that came out late Tuesday night about effing Konami putting Solid Snake in Super Bomberman R?
Yeah, and David Hayter is doing the voice again.
Right. Technically, they have Raiden without Quentin Flynn, or whatever his name is, doing the voice, and then they have Naked Snake and Solid Snake in that game.
Yeah.
Exactly what everyone wanted.
It's weird. I played it last night. I couldn't find the Mother Base stage, but I was annoyed that I went into it and you have to like unlock it with in-game currency.
You went into Super Bomberman R?
Oh yeah, baby.
See, that's your first problem.
Probably, but I went in there and it's like the laziest thing. It's great to hear David Hayter, even him like grunting and stuff as an explosion goes off or he's throwing a bomb is kind of fun. But it's just like, he'll start a match and he'll be like, oh, I wish I had a cardboard box. Just kind of like, all right, getting the big beats out. Kept you waiting, huh?
To me, that just seems like the most sort of cynical approach to something, right? Is like how can you, as a gamer, not see that you are just clearly being exploited by a company that does not actually care about the content that
I will argue
shepherding?
Super Bomberman R is a better game overall for having these stupid additions. They have like, you can jump in there. They have like Peabody from Portal 2. They have like Master Chief in there, like Pyramid Head, just bizarre cameos. Like, what does it hurt? It's fun.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, like,
but that doesn't make it a good game that you should revisit for those reasons.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a fine Bomberman game.
Right. And I think that also is just for all of us who would like to see more Metal Gear in some form, whether that's like
Bomberman
re-releases, like re-releases of the other ones, or some expanded content for 5 or whatever. Like that is just so not the Metal Gear related content we
It's just
want.
fan service. It's not like it's holding the developers back from making a new Metal Gear.
Who wants that? Who's like, oh man,
I love
Super Bomberman.
I don't understand. Why not throw that in there? It's a fun little thing. Get David Hayter in the booth again?
No, okay, fine. What does it hurt? But like, what does it help?
It made me go back and play Super Bomberman R and realize, oh, there's a decent Bomberman game on Steam.
Yeah, you have bad taste sometimes, though.
Do you not like Bomberman?
Let's just move on.
You don't like Bomberman?
I don't mind Bomberman. I don't like Super Bomberman R.
Why? It's just the core Bomberman formula. It's still a fun multiplayer game.
Okay.
I'll defend it.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
What do you think about, Joe, just to win you over and see that frown turn upside down? What do you think about burning logs? No. What do you think about Ni no Kuni 2's hard patch? You see that?
No.
Yeah, they're adding hard mode to Ni no Kuni 2.
That would have been a nice thing to have at lunch when I was actually playing the game.
Yeah, but good reason to dive back in, baby. Jeff Cork?
Yes, sir.
Westworld.
Yes. Good
Your thoughts on the finale without spoiling anything? If for the audio listeners, a wild thumbs up is the motion he's making right now. You would never guess it.
Man, that seems to be the consensus. I actually kind of liked the finale.
Is it just weird?
I mean, it's Westworld, so it's not like, oh my gosh, this is taking a turn. It's just, I just feel not good
about the future.
Yeah, I don't know. There are like a couple of standout episodes this season, but I think as a whole, I think the first season was so good. The second one, good luck living up to that, and surprisingly enough, they didn't.
So.
Yeah. Did you watch the post-credits thing too?
Yes.
I did not know about that initially. Mm-hmm. There is a not fantastic but very important scene that happens after the credits. So like I had some friends over and we were watching it, and then once the credits rolled, I was like, all right, well, that's a night. Good night, everybody, whatever. And then the next day a friend of mine was talking about the post-credit scene, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? It's important.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The complete opposite of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which has a post-credits thing at the end of the long credits, and it's the most fart in the wind, nothing. Like, this could have been a shot in your ending montage, but it's like, this doesn't tell me anything. It's so dumb.
I mean, because a lot of time post-credits, like the stingers are things like, oh, here's a tease for what the next Marvel movie is going to be about or something. But this is like it's almost like if your post-credit scene was just a minute-long thing and it's like, oh, by the way, Darth Vader is Luke's father. It's like a very important thing that is delivered in a very afterthought.
The industry needs to lock down the scope of a post-credits, like what the perfect post-credits thing is, because it's all over the place right now.
Because like if they were to do, I know they did remake RoboCop. I'm not talking about the remake, but if they were to have made Paul Verhoeven's RoboCop, the whole "What's your name, Murphy?" that would have been a post-credits. Sting. And that would have blown it.
Yeah.
Hi.
But this Westworld game, they made a game that's a lot like Fallout Shelter, maybe too close with Fallout Shelter, says Bethesda, because they're suing them for it.
Right. Did you feel the copyright infringement when you were playing it?
I said these assets and gameplay loops feel very familiar.
I recognize that bug, which is literally what they cited in like the documents, which is interesting. Is like it has a similar bug, so therefore they know that the code is the same
because it's the same developer behind both games.
It's not like, oh, hey, make something that's like this. It's like make the thing that's like the thing you made.
Which
just with new graphics.
Who's the developer?
Behavior Interactive.
How would Behavior Interactive do that? Okay, so they were contracted out to help work on Fallout Shelter originally with Bethesda. Then HBO or whoever pays them to make a Westworld version of basically Fallout Shelter. Is it like, well, we're not allowed to use any of that code? Like, what do you do? Just like time to buy a new computer and make sure it's completely detached and rebuild all that stuff. Like, I want to know the specifics of like how much do they use it? How much can they just rebuild those things? But in theory, they used some of the code.
It's not fun.
Oh, the game isn't?
No. It's not a good game.
Did you like Fallout Shelter?
That is fine. Fallout Shelter is fine. It's like neither one of them, I think, ultimately is like a holy crap, I've got to get home so I can play more Fallout Shelter kind of a thing. Yeah. But it was like, at least Fallout Shelter was like, you poke around for a little bit, you kind of flip some switches and see how things play out. And
so what's different here then?
This one is way more linear. So it's not like you're trying to figure out how best to build the base. You're leveling up your command center. When you level it up, it's like, oh, hey, now you can build this building in Abernathy Ranch or in Pariah or something. You go to that place, you say, build that new thing, because that's the only option you have, and then wait 2 minutes and it's built. And then level up your command base again, and it's like, hey, now you can build this other new thing. It's never do you want to build this new thing or that new thing? This one has specific benefits to this one has benefits to that.
There's no real choice.
No, it's basically you're just like wandering around on this treadmill.
So don't get this free thing?
Well, it's free to play, so they really want you to spend money, but I played for quite a while, did not give them a dime. And as soon as I was done writing up my impressions, I uninstalled it. So.
Wow.
This is also an important thing for everyone to remember. Important PSA is that you pay for things in your life with more than just money.
Yeah, that's a great
that is really true.
point.
There are other forms of currency, whether it's time or effort or thought. You are spending something on lots of things. So even if you don't have to pay money for Westworld, you have to pay other things for it, and it sounds like it's not worth it.
No such thing as a free game.
You are valuable. Your time is valuable. You could be writing the next great American novel.
Exactly.
Jeff Cork, you ever going to write a book?
No, I'm busy writing up impressions on Westworld Mobile.
Mario Rabbids DLC. Jeff Mark Yafava is checking it out. He might have impressions on the site at some point soon. I know some people were asking about that. Also, the Splatoon expansion, Brian Shea is going to be posting impressions. It seems like he's enjoying it, but he says it's super, super hard, which is a weird approach for Splatoon 2. Yeah. But hey, what do you know?
He was also saying he's heard people calling it like the Dark Souls of Splatoon, and I think that if by now you haven't been totally sick of hearing the phrase the Dark Souls of blank, I think that's the slam dunk that just like that's the final nail in that coffin. Just don't say that.
Just don't do it.
Teeth slapped
They've
out of
actually
your
added
face
Dark
when
Souls
you
as
do
a synonym to hard.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Officially,
In
Merriam-Webster.
thesaurus.com, yeah.
Oh my God. Well, hey, do you guys want to clap out? We can get Derek and Javy in here to talk about the military.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
1, 2, 3.
Oops,
You hit the mic, but it totally works. Javy Gwaltney, welcome to the podcast. And Derek Swinhart, welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
You're an intern, Derek.
I am.
You were on the mic, was that last episode, I guess?
I was.
You jumped in to correct all of our mistakes along the way, but we wanted to have you on for this segment because you're an expert on the two areas that we're talking about, right?
I have experience with both of them.
Okay.
I attended military college, and I have a lot of friends and family that are in the military. My two best friends, one's a Army captain, and he's in Louisiana right now, and he's been in for probably 5 years. And his dad is career military, and then also my other best friend is a Navy pilot.
Okay, interesting.
And then I was in military college, did ROTC, did a lot of training and stuff like that, but nothing that crazy.
Right, but a little bit of insight.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
lived in barracks and all that fun stuff.
That sounds
So-
great. And what insight do you have about Praise Mooncrash DLC?
Oh, so much.
Okay, all right. JV, you played this thing. This is like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
weird, is it procedurally generated?
It's it's one of the strangest things I've played in a long time.
Is it good? Strange?
Mostly, yeah. Let's go
Okay.
with mostly. So it's an expansion pack that's a standalone game that's set after the events of the original Prey. But you don't have to have played Prey to understand the story. But it doesn't really have a practice mode, so you really should have played Prey if you hope to survive in this at all.
Okay.
But it's basically it's very structured very strangely. It's a roguelike sort of thing where you're on a moon, where you're on the moon, the lunar moon.
Uh-huh.
And there,
Oh, the lunar moon.
yeah. Transtar, the corporation from the first game, has a base there. And you are playing a spy. This is so fucking weird.
So
you
you're
are
not the main
playing
character?
What?
It's not like Morgan, you?
No, it's not Morgan or Alex. Yeah, Morgan, sorry. You are playing a spy for a rival corporation who is orbiting said moon, and something has happened on the moon. Spoilers, and an outbreak of the alien monsters. Yeah, that's what's
Okay.
happened. And your job is to run simulations of the 5 survivors that got off the moon and to recreate what they did. So sometimes that means and all the survivors are characters with different abilities. So they're basically character builds from the first
Okay.
game. So you have the patient who's really good with psychotic powers, who can psychic powers. So he can use telekinesis, throw people against walls, or he can use massive energy blast, but he has weak help. And then you have the security officer that's really good with guns and nothing else. So they all have story objectives, and you accomplish those story objectives to unlock other characters. And then the goal is to get all 5 of them off the base in one simulation. So
So you're swapping between them, like Lost
No,
Vikings, or what the?
no, it's you do one run as one character,
Okay.
and you either die or get off the base, and then you switch to another. And then if you die at any point, the whole simulation resets. So you have to do it all over again.
Is it, so it's brutally hard?
I didn't die once, actually.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's brutally easy.
If you're very careful. If you
Okay.
try to play Prey, it's pretty much the same rules for the base game. If you try to play Prey like a first-person shooter, you're going to regret that choice a lot. You will not have any fun. You'll wonder why you're getting your ass handed to you. If you try to play it more like System Shock too, sort of being creative, not going all crazy, when you come against enemies, trying to think of how to bypass obstacles, then, it's not too hard.
Yeah.
It's more of an adjustment thing. Use your brain. It's much easier if you've played the base game. If you haven't played the base game, you're just going to get destroyed.
Yeah, the base game is pretty difficult.
I think everybody hit that wall after a
Yeah.
certain point in that first game. Oh, I'm really going to have to take this seriously, aren't I? I need to be a smart guy for this one.
Yeah. But it's interesting because it's choices that you make carry across every every playthrough in the simulations. So, for example, within a contained simulation. So, for example, there are 5 ways to get out of the space station, one for each character. So, let's say one of them is a shuttle. If I use my first character to escape via shuttle, and every escape method, it's more than just find a way to escape. Often, minor spoilers, but for like the shuttle one, not only do you have to find the shuttle, you have to find the corpse of a pilot, steal their knowledge on how to, using a special device, steal their knowledge on how to, pilot the plane.
It's called the key.
Yeah.
The special knowledge, turn the key.
But you have to basically like steal that part of their brain and eat it, and then you have to go. That's when you can escape, and all of the escape paths have multiple objectives like this. So it's not just like find a way out.
Yeah.
It's like find a way out, then do A, B, C, D to get out. So anyway, point is like if you use the shuttle for one character, you can't use it for another. They have to find an escape pod. They have to find one very creative way to escape, which I'm not going to bring up here. But it's challenging, but it's not super hard. It was really it's more puzzly than I expected, because I felt like Prey was a really good puzzler that was wrapped up in a bunch of like tedious nonsense. I really hated the backtracking in that game, and combat just isn't fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like Mooncrash, it doesn't really add much more new content, but what it does is it cuts out all the bullshit. It feels like this is the best of Prey. If you want like an area of Prey that gives you like a playground and then allows you to forces you to experiment with everything, because in Prey, the original when the base game, you were pretty much locked into like a particular like kind of character. You were either at a certain point, you were either playing someone who is psychic, you were playing like a combat character if you were real dumb, if you made that choice. You're playing a sneaky character, whereas like with these characters in Mooncrash, you're bouncing across them. You have to try all these different modes.
So is it set up in a way where it's like welcoming to everybody if you've played a little bit of that first Prey? Like if you've played Prey, maybe I'm just speaking, for first-hand experience, and like trailed off about halfway through, like you can just jump into this and it's just like, I get the best parts of Prey, have a good time with that system a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like it just feels... It doesn't really add much more new content in terms of like, here are new weapons to play with, but it's like, this is the best of Prey. If you want like, this is where this game shines without having to spend like 20 hours of just ridiculous backtracking and scavenging and getting beaten by a monster because you had some bad luck.
Right.
Like this is what you should play.
Do you think it's a good, like, would you go back and play it again afterwards, or?
I'm still playing it. Like I beat it and I'm still playing it.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's worth going through like with the randomization and like other runs and stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like they do enough interesting stuff with the randomization, because it's not just like, it's not just like basic roguelike, you're dead. Like you also like can find fabrication plans in this moon base. And what happens is like, say you find a fabrication plan for an advanced pistol. All right. And then you die. You lose all your progress. But accomplishing objectives during runs and killing monsters nets you skill points, which are basically currency. So like every fabrication plan that you find will unlock that item in like the shop menu. So you can buy items to start new runs. So like I can buy that advanced pistol from now on for like 300 skill points, and the skill points are super easy to get.
Yeah.
So it's never like, oh man, I lost everything. It's just like, I lost these characters' progress. Like I still keep all the items that I found. I can, buy them.
Right.
With fake money.
This seems very up your alley, JV. And the fact that you weren't ecstatic about it, but lightly positive.
No, because I feel like my biggest issue with Prey, I feel like this game solved a lot of the base game's issues, but my biggest issue with Prey is that it really doesn't have an identity of its own. It feels like a greatest hits of that immersive sim genre. It feels like just Dishonored and BioShock and System Shock thrown together without like like the Mimic stuff is cool.
That's what they got, yeah.
Yeah, but what else beyond that? Like I might be in the minority here, but I feel like the story payoff was really bad. I know Bert's loved it. I really hated it. I felt like it was cheap.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't play into like all the decisions you've made.
Yeah, it feels like M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, it's very like, I don't care about what you did.
And not top tier.
Yeah.
It feels like real bad.
Yeah.
So, it's I am more lukewarm on Prey than I feel like a lot of people are. Like there are a lot of people who has that sort of Far Cry 2 appeal to it, where it's like, this is rough in a lot of places, but I love it and I don't care. I love it more because of its roughness, and I'm not in that camp. I feel like that game has a lot of problems that this expansion pack, remedies several of them.
Yeah. I love the idea of Bethesda making these little standalone things like Death of the Outsider. If they just keep doing this for all their games moving forward, that's cool. I guess Youngblood in a weird way is kind of a more expanded version of that.
Yeah, we have no idea what Youngblood is, but I imagine it's something like that. I don't think it's Wolfenstein 3. I think it's
just based on the title. It's like Old Blood, Young Blood.
Yeah.
I'm really kicking myself for not piecing that together. It seems to make sense. You going to play this thing, Derek?
Yeah, I think I might. I really like Prey. Dishonored is one of my favorite series of all time. I think maybe because of that, I had super high expectations going into Prey. And I wasn't necessarily disappointed, but it was definitely just a completely different game, which is totally fine. But definitely Dishonored has like this amazing identity and like creativity to it that I don't know if it necessarily carried over, like you said, JV. It definitely feels like all of those things you said, and then it just has like the gorgeous art of like Dishonored and stuff.
Yeah, but it definitely feels like it's in the shadow of like the way it, like Dishonored definitely draws inspiration from like Thief. You know, like there's a lot that it takes from Thief, but Dishonored is still its own thing. Yeah. It can still be like, oh yeah, we have these vaguely steampunk things. We have this great setting. We have this compelling story.
Got these cool symbols that JV tattoos onto his arm.
Hey, yay! Whereas like, I don't think Prey has that at all. Yeah. I think Prey is fun and like exhilarating and
admirable.
Yeah, and in certain tense situations in that game. Like it's very good at creating memorable moments. But, you know, I can't remember half of the characters I met in that base game. I can't, you know, it's another space station. It's a cool looking space station, but outside of it having a cool decor, it could be any other space station.
Yeah. I'm so excited for the weird remixing they're doing with this, including like that Typhon Hunter, basically prop hunt they're going to be adding at some point later this year. I really, really want to check it out.
It seems like they're really testing the waters with Prey. Like they're kind of like, it's been a while since that game came out.
Yeah.
Like a year. And now they're like, are people still interested in Prey? Like maybe we can refine it a little bit, but
they need more time like to ramp up to the next project maybe, so they have to keep the staff busy with something. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels weird because like Prey, spoilers if you haven't finished Prey, it's definitely a cliffhanger sort of ending, a bullshit cliffhanger ending. And I just assume like because Prey sold poorly, like it did pretty awfully, you know.
Yeah. Back in the days of Steam Spy where we could kind of see these things, I think it was like, I remember seeing like 300,000 or something at some point where it's like, it's okay-ish.
Yeah,
pretty
but
good.
like, it did not do great.
Yeah,
Until
not a flop, but middle of the road, you know?
Right. And, you know, it's one of those things where I just assume like, oh, this is going to be a standalone expansion like Death of the Outsider.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Like this, you know, it doesn't, like it's its own self-contained story, and it does tie a little bit into main Prey, but it's not like, oh, this is the next chapter or this is the
But you can buy it standalone, can't you?
No, you cannot.
It's attached. Yeah, it's
attached. Oh, God, I've been completely mistaken this entire time. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's his expansion pack.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so long for brilliant ideas from Bethesda. All right, never mind. I thought that was cool. But did you review this thing?
Yeah, we're actually reviewing it right now, so no score yet.
All right, might be on the site. Check it out.
Yeah.
Gameformer.com. Okay, now for something more confusing and more interesting. A while ago, just for a good timestamp, I think this kind of stuff is fun. It was right when news broke that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 would not have a single player campaign.
Yeah.
You were, meanwhile, with Call of Duty people, like PR folks, on your way back from Kuwait.
Yeah, no, it was real. Do you want that particular story?
Let's get that real quick.
All right. So yeah, I was. It was actually right before we all went home back to America. So I went upstairs, took a shower. We had just been at like the last base. Came back down and found all of you guys talking in Slack about like, oh, Call of Duty 4, blah blah blah.
I think like Polygon.
Yeah, Polygon broke the story. And so I think Burst was like, ask him what's up. So I went downstairs and poor Allie Miller, who's the Call of Duty brand person, who's great, was sitting down there just sighing at her phone, reading it. I was like, yeah, that just happened. So I went over and I was like, look, I know you probably can't say anything, but I have to ask. And she was like, just go. I can't. No.
Cushion that. What kind of journalist are you? Go in there, grab her by the shoulder, say, give me the dirt, give me the facts. I don't know. I assume that's what you do.
Yeah, but yeah, they gave me a no comment, but it was pretty clear. Like, just one of those things where
their
it's
faces were commenting.
Yeah, like they all looked very exasperated. Yeah. So,
and not from jet lag, because all right, set this up. Why did you go over there? How did this happen? Yes. What is this?
So I want to say, when was it? You were in that meeting. It was back in February, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was back in February. Activision pitched us on. They put on a tour with the USO, and the USO. Actually, Derek, you probably have a better, explanation.
Of what?
USO what the USO?
I guess. I mean, they provide kind of service for soldiers overseas and stuff like that, and kind of go on bases and we'll put on concerts or entertainment or stuff like that, bring them food.
Still Bob Hope mainly is touring around the thing.
Yeah, they're probably most well known for like Bob Hope and also the weird Playboy Girls sequence in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically they're a non-profit organization that goes onto bases and builds like entertainment centers. So like when you see soldiers like chilling out in like nice air-conditioned centers in like the Middle East playing like games or reading in lounges or stuff, it's usually a USO center.
Yeah, I've wanted to have a Game Informer USO show for years. We've been talking about that. No one is really too into it except for me. But I love the idea of like, can we just go over there and like just bring a bunch of Super Nintendos or just bring a bunch of GameCubes and play like Smash Brothers Melee with soldiers? Like that
They'd be
seems
into
so
it.
awesome.
They'd be super into it, I think.
Okay, but you got basically that experience.
So anyway, to finish the setup, so they pitched us and they basically were going around because the USO tours often include celebrities. So, you had a lot of Bob Hope, like you mentioned, a lot of Robin Williams, but they've been branching out into games now, naturally, because generations are changing.
Yeah.
So what they did was USO partnered with Activision, and they sent Activision and some developers from Sledgehammer to Kuwait and Germany to let soldiers play one of the, I can't remember which one, I think it's War Machine, one of the Call of Duty World War II DLCs first.
Okay.
And
literally first?
Yeah, first. Like they were.
That's
the first.
amazing.
Yeah, and put on a tournament. No stakes tournament where everyone played and they got challenge coins and stuff, and the soldiers were really into it.
They were the Sledgehammer coins?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and that was basically the whole thing, was just us going. We went to 2 places in Germany and 2 places in Kuwait for them to put on those tournaments. And like, I just talked to soldiers. Like, that's what I did the entire time. Because, for the magazine, we didn't necessarily focus on Call of Duty. That was just a part of the story. We wanted to talk to soldiers about how video games fit into their lives.
Right. But Activision reached out to us and said, hey, would you guys like to tag along? And it's like, yeah, as long as this isn't just kissing too much Call of Duty. Like, it is an interesting story to witness.
No. And they were super, I want to say on the record that they were super cool about that. They never ever were like, hey, say more Call of Duty here or anything. Like,
right.
Because I sent it to them for fact checking, as you should.
Right.
And like, they were super cool about it. Like, let's be real here. The soldiers were really into Call of Duty. Like, that was like, because one of the questions I would ask, like, all the soldiers was, what games are you playing? What are some of your favorite games? And Call of Duty was always at the top.
Yeah.
And then it was other stuff like, Fortnite. It blew my mind because I always thought, what I went in there thinking was like, when I asked them the Fortnite PUBG question, it'd come back PUBG like every time.
Because more grounded, more literal. Yeah. Soldiers. Yeah.
No PUBG almost.
Really?
At all. Almost always Fortnite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then like Madden, a lot of sports games, and League of Legends. They're really into League of Legends.
That seems like a complicated setup. Like having like a console where you can play every once in a while, but like everybody having their own like PC. Mm-hmm. What's going on? Okay, let's focus on maybe Kuwait in particular. No offense to the soldiers in Germany. I'd imagine that's a little bit more understandable. Yeah. But the Kuwait base, like, what were either of those like?
Oh man, a lot of sand.
Okay,
really.
And you, like, as you're flying over, do you just see oceans of sand? What a crazy thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much like you would imagine. There are a lot of radio towers. Transmission towers.
Okay.
Kuwait itself is kind of an odd city where it's like, you see a sort of clash of like a bunch of stone broken buildings, that are just ages old mixed with skyscrapers.
Yeah.
So it's like, clashing of old and new. And the bases themselves, there's a lot of, it was more colorful than I expected actually, because regiments and troops that leave, they often have like artists in their squads and stuff. So they'll paint the concrete blockades that are, around with like unit art. Okay. So you had like, in the magazine, we have one in the picture in the magazine, actually. It's like Harlem Hellfighters was what this group called themselves. And they had a little cool like mural to, sort of celebrate the time that they were at this base.
Okay.
So there was, there's some stuff like that, but mostly both bases were a lot of bored people looking for a way to kill time. Like if you've ever seen an episode of MASH, like it's pretty 1-1, like but a lot of them were into video games. They were super into gaming. I had a lot of them, and of course, both men and women too. So it wasn't just like a bunch of dudes.
Right.
Like everyone there was into games. It felt like everyone I talked to, even people who weren't like taking part in the tourney, because I made sure to talk to people who were on the outskirts. The only sort of like nasty comment or thought thing that I saw about video games from soldiers were these two soldiers were trying to play their tabletop game and the Call of Duty game was interrupting them with like all the noise and stuff, and they just kept giving side eye to like the tournament players. It was real good.
Activision loved it.
Yeah, but
that's so bizarre to think about. Like, everybody on these military bases, you run some drills, and then the rest of the time it is a lot of waiting around. Like, we actually have some emails from people, which we'll get to in a bit.
A lot of hurry up and wait.
I was amazed by that. Like, I never thought it would be so boring.
It's so boring. Like that, everyone says it. I don't think it's offensive to call it that because like they tell. That's what they told me while I was there. All of them.
Yeah, it's
like all ranks. Like it's so boring out here.
Yeah. It's and just in terms of, I mean, even my best friend now, and he's just in Louisiana, but they do like field exercises. But it's like pretty much has a mandatory training time in the morning, like for working out or stuff, and it's basically like, just go to the gym like and work out or go do like PT. And then it's like, that's it. And then like maybe do paperwork or stuff like that. And then they'll have like go out in the field for just hours, like sitting around or stuff like that for the next day. And it's kind of the same thing even on the bases where it's like, it's not like you're going to war every day. A lot of the times it's just, you're there to be there. And other than training, there's nothing to do. And they're not any different from anybody else. I mean,
from these particular bases.
Yeah.
I'm sure it varies base to base and where you're actually stationed, all that stuff.
But like the bomb disposal squad in Ramstein, they have like Smash Brothers tournaments to just kill time, like Nintendo 64 Smash Brother tournaments.
Wait, I think you said Melee in the piece.
Did I say Melee? Yeah, then Melee. Yeah, all right.
Story's full of holes, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Did you even go to Kuwait and Germany? I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Yeah, but no, like they were really enthusiastic about games. Like one of them was like, oh yeah, everybody in the military I know is like a gamer in one way or another, even if it's just like on phones or something.
I'm amazed reading your piece, and this is probably, it's completely on me for not realizing how up to date they are, but I assumed it was just like spotty internet connection, but it seemed like everybody's pretty much on point. They were like making Black Panther references and stuff. By the time you went out there, it's like, oh, Black Panther just came out, but they have movies fully caught up to date.
Yeah, no, dude, it's real weird. Both of the Kuwait installations I went to, they had theaters. And when I say theater, it's probably like 2.5 times the size.
Derek,
of
he's
the
saying
room.
theater, right?
It's true.
It's silly, right? Okay, theater. Theater, Jim. Here we go.
They have like sort of a projector that's like, classroom size and, a screen that's maybe like that big, like as big as this wall back here.
Okay. He says as big as the wall if you couldn't hear that.
And it's hooked up to a hard drive or maybe a server with a bunch of movies like Blade Runner and stuff. So, I thought that was kind of neat.
That new hot movie.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about it.
But like, it was interesting because I heard a lot of sort of mixed stuff about the internet stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Like when it came to playing multiplayer, like most of them said like, oh yeah, playing multiplayer sucks unless you can do it local, which is another reason why they like Call of Duty. Cause
right,
a lot
of
the
course.
Time, yeah. But a lot of them like just bit the bullet and got the Verizon sort of like data plan. Hotspot that they use to play multiplayer.
That's crazy.
Really?
That they pay that much for it. But like there was one guy there who was like, yeah, I play Monster Hunter World with my kid.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
How was the trip for you overall? Was it eye-opening? Was it about as you expected? Like, what's the mood as you're leaving that place?
I mean, it was a fascinating trip. Once in a lifetime experience. I really loved it. Everyone was a lot younger than I thought they would be. Like, I stepped on a base, and I think it's just after years of being sort of like the movies about military coming out, so like Platoon or MASH or whatever, it's always like, oh, these sort of grizzled guys
totally.
or women who are like in their 30s or whatever. Like a bunch of these soldiers,
it's kids out of high school.
Like I used to teach college, and like a lot of these kids were younger than the kids I taught in college.
Yeah, it turns out it's just people in the teens or in their 20s that are gathering around for an anime geek night, as you mentioned.
There's an anime night.
Right, where it's like, oh, I understand these people. Okay, it feels too distant for us, I think, back in the States.
Yeah, so that was I think the most interesting thing was seeing how young and attuned to geek culture. Not even attuned, like geek culture was like just huge over there, just as huge over there as it was here.
Yeah.
You know, and I think maybe even bigger over there because it was like, it's a stronger connection to home,
Right.
you know? And it's real hard to sort of, according to them, it's real hard to sort of hold on to that.
Did they geek out over the developers being there?
Oh, God, yes.
These are like developers, like, this isn't just producers or people in communications. These are like on the ground Sledgehammer
Yeah, there were
developers.
like 3 Sledgehammer developers, and then there was their internal communications manager.
Okay.
And then there was Kevin Kelly and Ali Miller, who are like Call of Duty brand Activision people.
Okay. But did they just like barrage these people with questions?
Yeah, no, it was really interesting because, you know, we had some of the soldiers take us aside, and I don't think they were, you know, sort of just making anything up, but sort of some of the like the higher ranking soldiers, they were like, yeah, I've seen, you know, like, you know, smaller turnouts for like celebrities. Like this is as big as I've ever seen it. And it was just, they basically treated the Sledgehammer developers kind of like rock stars. Like they rushed them and were like, hey, tell us about Black Ops 4. When's that coming?
Where's
Can
that
you give us-
campaign?
Yeah, can you give us details?
Yeah, I've heard some things on Polygon about not having a campaign.
Yeah. And then when we went to the other camp, which was filled with people who were older, you know, not necessarily into gaming as much, they were still interested in it. Like
Okay.
there was like an era of keen interest who were like, well, you know, making this World War II game, how did you guys try to get that historical authenticity? So even among like older soldiers who aren't necessarily into video games, they were still like, you know, sort of mesmerized by this. They wanted to know more about it. But like during like Ramstein and during the first base at Kuwait particular, like, yeah, they were just, it was like being at a rock concert, basically.
Like a Rammstein concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
What, you're also with some YouTuber?
Yeah, Jordan Payton. His name's Legion. Or Legion, his name's Jordan Payton. He got famous because he plays a lot of Fortnite and sings country song covers of like rap songs of like Drake and stuff. And he's really funny and crass but kind.
Really?
Yeah, and he's partnered with
perfect.
Taco Bell and what's the pizza thing? DiGiorno's?
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you
the
talking
pizza
about?
thing?
Yeah,
There's
like
so
he
much
does- he
pizza
has
in
to
the
do
world.
like content with them. Yeah.
Does Giorno's content?
Yeah.
This sounds cool.
Yeah, no, but he's really funny, and like that was also another eye-opening thing was when we got there, a lot of the soldiers already knew who this guy was. I'd never heard of him.
Right.
You know, like
We're very uncool.
yeah, we're so uncool. But you know, he's got like 300,000 followers on Twitter and YouTube, so it's not too surprising, but they like knew who he was. They asked him for autographs and stuff.
That's cool. I love that the USO is so smart that they're going for YouTubers and
Yeah.
streamers and getting them in there. Just people that soldiers will actually react to. Did he film any sort of like travel log or do anything like that?
Oh
along
yeah,
the
for
way?
sure, for sure.
Are you in it?
Yeah, I'm
Is it fun? Should I watch it?
Yeah, I'll show you later. It's good. But
Okay.
there's definitely one. There's an entertaining one where like we went to the canine kennel and got to see the German Shepherds and stuff. And
Okay.
then they had us put on a fluffy suit
And get attacked.
and the German Shepherds attacked us.
And that's in the video?
Him getting attacked in the video.
Oh, that's so good.
But
That's so
like,
good.
JV just punched them all off.
no, that they bite hard. But anyway, like there's definitely a video of like Jordan running and the dog chasing after him and one of the USO guys going, run, Forrest, run. And then someone else going, for the content. Before the dog like just knocks him over.
That's
But yeah,
great.
he's real cool.
That's
I like
great.
him.
What's the name again?
Jordan Payton.
Jordan Payton. You can look it up. What a weird trip, JV.
Yeah, it's
I'm
super
so
weird.
happy you did that. Was it a fun one to write?
Yeah.
We should mention you can find this piece also online in addition to the Game Informer.
Yeah,
Just
it's
how-
online right now.
What's the name of it?
Coping with War.
Okay, Game Informer Coping with War is what you type in on Google to
Yeah,
maybe
and it's
find
the
it.
first result because we have a site now that functions. It's the
Yeah, hey,
best.
GameInformer.com, everybody. This isn't about us. This is about the troops, JV.
Yes.
And so we actually sent out a tweet looking for people in the military who have been in the military to just tell stories about gaming overseas or while they're in service. And so we got a handful of emails here if you want to sit down for story time.
Let's do it.
You ready,
good.
Derek?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Your color commentary over there.
All right.
Respectful color commentary. Okay, here we go. Hey, GI Show crew. My name is Andrew Gentry, and I currently serve in the Army as an explosive ordnance disposal technician. I've been in the Army for 14 years. I've been deployed to Iraq once and Afghanistan twice. I leave for another tour to Afghanistan in just a few weeks. Gaming has been a major part of my deployments in the past. My first deployment to Iraq in 2005, I played the heck out of my PSP. I was able to buy an Xbox 360 when they first came out. In 2006, while I was still in Iraq. I remember having the King Kong game and NBA 2K.
I just want to say that game's
classic
really
game.
good. King Kong is
King Kong?
really good.
King Kong, the official game of the movie, outside of Jurassic World Evolution, it is the best Jurassic Park game. Like, running from little hut to little hut, dodging dinosaurs, one of the best. One of the best.
How's that game that good?
Michel
very good.
Ancel.
It's
That
one of
game
those-
is as good as its title is bad.
You're totally right. Also ahead of its time for like no UI and like having the lead
yeah.
character, he'd be like 4 bullets left,
Yeah,
reloading.
check, yeah.
Yeah, he would convey everything you needed. And like some of the tech looks a little bit rough. Those faces are rough, but that core game, also it's a lot of shooting centipedes and stuff, which gets annoying along the way. Everything else is good.
I just want to say though, like I kept thinking about that game a lot 2 days ago because I was watching Jumanji 2.
Oh yeah.
And Jack Black was in there, and I kept thinking of him and the King Kong.
Yeah, he's like wearing the same outfit.
He's wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, the go-to jungle guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, Andrew here. He says, in 2010, while I was in Afghanistan, guys in my unit set up Ethernet cable through our home so that we could play Call of Duty together. That year, also, Red Dead came out and provided hours of entertainment for me. Once again, in Afghanistan, I got into Skyrim. Can you imagine that?
Skyrim was huge, even at the military college.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
even tons of people didn't have like consoles or anything. It like took over to the point where just every single person was talking about it, which you wouldn't think. Just anybody, even everybody that was like, oh, I only play Call of Duty. They're like, oh, have you heard about this Skyrim game? And then it was to the point where like the slippery when wet signs had little pictures of like people Fusro dying, like the guy making him fall over and stuff. So people were just like plastering Skyrim stuff all over like the barracks, and it was like it was so weird because I was like, oh man, I'm so excited for Skyrim because I played like Morrowind and all that stuff and loved those games, and then I was like, yeah, I'm playing this game Skyrim, and everybody's like, oh my god, Skyrim.
Yeah, of course, it's just gamers everywhere. Anyways, he says, as I prepare for the next deployment, I've purchased a Switch. I think it's going to be great for travel, and I can play Skyrim again, which would be bizarre for him. He says, gaming really helps me to stay sane while being away from my family for so long. I'm 35 years old and married with 4 kids. It is easy to get down while away, and gaming can transform you to another place. I enjoy deep RPG-style games. Now that I've found this show, I plan to continue watching while deployed. Thank you so much. He says, also, I currently live in Clarksville, Tennessee, near Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, but it has a pin on the map. Yeah, you're right, Andrew. That's totally correct. Thank you. You want to read one from Voy? It's actually written into the podcast before.
Voy Jadnik?
You got it.
I am so sorry if I messed up your name. Please forgive me. I also have a weird name, so I feel like I get a license to mess up names.
It's true.
All right. Hey, Ben and the Bentacles. I saw you were looking for some feedback from military members and the effect video games had on them. I was in the Navy in the early 2000s on a ship called the USS Incon. This was before the internet was common for lower rank enlisted, so to entertain ourselves during long days at sea, we would play video games. We would crowd around a 28-inch TV and play Dreamcast or Nintendo 64. They were preferred because they were allowed for 4 controllers to be plugged in at once. Video games were a great way to get to know personnel outside of your department, as well as take care of the competitive itch with games like NFL 2K. I've been out of the military for some time now, and I've always wondered how gaming has evolved. So thank Javy for the article.
Oh,
You're
there we go. That's right. He's from Shakopee, Minnesota.
All right.
Derek, you want the next one, man?
Should we say anything about that one?
I love the idea of local multiplayer being big over there. Like, I think about Melee, like you mentioned in your article and stuff like that. And of course, Dreamcast, you get 4 controllers there. You got to play Toy Commander. It's military themed. It's right there. Power Stone.
I did not ask them about Nidhogg. I should have asked them if they played Nidhogg.
Why? Because that's your go-to local multiplayer game?
Yes, because that game's amazing.
It is
Local
very
multiplayer is such a good way to get to know people, especially like ones you haven't spent that much time with. I mean, the way people like reveal parts of their personality.
Oh, you get to see their best and their worst.
It's
Mainly their
basically
worst,
drinking without drinking. It's just like people screaming and acting like
Screen
idiots and
cheating.
revealing their darkest secrets.
It's exactly what your commanding officers want. Just people to tear each other apart from screen cheating. All right, Derek, take it away.
All right. Hello, podcast people. Aaron from Cleveland. I assume that's Ohio. I'll tell you something you don't know. Overseas, you can go from fast roping out of a Blackhawk to recover your friend's remains from a destroyed OH-58D helicopter immediately to days of mind-numbing boredom. The boredom can be awful. There's honestly only so much sleeping and eating you can do. Guys like me game to make the time go by. I scored a Nintendo Wii over there. This was 2008 to 2009, and I played Upona for 16 hours nonstop one day. Try that in an Extra Life stream without putting a gun in your mouth.
I won't. I looked up footage of that, and it looks effing terrible.
I've never even heard of it.
It's a horrific looking RPG for the Wii. Just looks simple as hell.
We had assembled enough scrap to put a small network together between our little housing containers and play some Quake 1 and Quake 3 Arena on LAN. Doom and Duke 3D was a given. We were running high-res versions of Duke 3D and source ports of Doom, Z-Doom, or GZ Doom. I've attached some pictures for your enjoyment, a picture of one of the decks we constructed, living quarters. You can see some of our network cables, and a funny picture we made of a stuffed bunny rabbit trying to murder one of us.
They were very good photos. I love seeing just like how they strung these things together just to play Quake. That's so cool.
It's crazy. My immediate assumption would be you're in the military. Why Call of Duty? Like, why would you want to get back into that? And I think maybe it's the PUBG versus Fortnite thing where it's like, I think PUBG maybe goes a little too far in the realm of like stressful and like worrying about that kind of stuff. Whereas like Call of Duty just is not realistic at all. And
Sledgehammer developers.
Is no actual representation of like being in the military, and you have so little agency in the military. Whereas Call of Duty, it's like you are center boy of this amazing like front, like fighting and stuff like that, which is just that is not the military.
Well, in terms of the realism, actually, we have Eutimio Gomez writes in with an interesting connection there, saying, "Hey, I've been deployed 5 times in combat zones in Iraq and Afghanistan, and during those times we had used games mainly for coping mechanisms. I especially played Battlefield 4, which I actually used what I learned in the Army from the experiences that I had to the exact T in Battlefield 4. It actually made me the greatest sniper in Battlefield 4 on PS4. Not bragging, but yes, I am up there in the leaderboards. All right, good job. He says, I used BF4 because it truly was my coping mechanism to fill that urge to be violent. I know that sounds bad, but it truly was what I was doing during the war. I wasn't a pencil pusher or someone that just went back, who just went and came back to say they went to war. No, I was in the front line. I went on over 300 convoy missions. I lost friends and brothers and leaders. So when we got downtime, it was either writing letters home or playing PS2 or Game Boy Advance SP at that time. This was like 2003, 2004. So when they started doing therapy for us that had deployed in combat situations, they started implementing those types of sessions I spoke of earlier. So I spent over 2,000 hours in Battlefield 4 because it truly was the only thing that made me feel whole. Interesting way to like vent or just to fulfill some of those.
Yeah, there's like
training.
That adrenaline. I mean, like the Hurt Locker kind of loosely goes to that where it's like he keeps going back because he basically can't get enough of it. I'm not saying this guy can't get enough of it, but like there is that like element of like combat or stress or stuff like that that's just inherent to you. And I think it's why a lot of veterans, when they come back, can't like move into society. And then your article also had a really good thing where it's like you're told what to do and like how to do it all the time. So when you go back, it's like you're kind of just left to your own devices.
Yeah, like the other half of the article when I got back was talking to like numerous veterans, and the one sort of like connection, the one sort of consistent thing I got was just how awful it is to transition from military to life to civilian life, because you go from like an environment that's constant, like, you know, oh, everyone around me is my comrade, they're my friends, we're all looking out for each other, to like pure capitalism, baby. You're on your own. And it's real hard. It's really hard. Yeah, Joe Williams here writes in. He relates to that. He says, hey, Ben Hansen and Sort of GI crew. I'm Joe from Greenville, Tennessee, Devil's Country. He says, our high school mascot is the Green Devils. Thank you. He says, video games have always played a big part in my life, but they had a very special role during and after my 4 years in the Army. I did 2 trips to Afghanistan with 7th Special Forces Group, and as a member of the support teams, my job there was basically shift work with higher stakes. Halfway across the world, we did 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week for 6 months at a time, enough to drive anyone insane. Every day at the end of my shift, I would head back to my little corner of a room where I had a 24-inch TV on top of my Xbox One, on top of my PS4, and play the game of the week. I played through a lot of great single-player content, including Wolfenstein, Witcher 3, Blood and Wine, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Forza Horizon 3, Rise of the Tomb Raider, to name a few. It all really helped with all the inherent stress that comes from deployments. Video games also helped me bond with my teammates both during and after my time in. I separated from the Army earlier this year, and a Discord server with a few of my buddies from my unit has done a tremendous job with keeping me in touch with them, as well as easing the transition back into the civilian world. It acts as a sort of home base or support group. Of course, this wasn't the intent. It was just a way to play PUBG, but it inadvertently provided relief for another very stressful time in my life. I like that. Just like Discord, weird connection, just to stay in touch a little bit. Dakota from DC writes in and says, hey, my cousin was part of military police deployed to Kuwait at the time. He was very much separated from his wife and son, but they would talk to us. They would talk as much as they could thanks to the USO. Being a big gamer, he would play what he could when he could to help relieve stress as well. Now, at that point, we had only
We had only really recently became close. However, I was the only other person in her family that played games, had a PS3, and had Modern Warfare 2. So playing games is one thing, but being able to play with someone else you know while being so far away has a major relief for him. I remember getting up early on Saturdays just so we could join up and play. Times have changed since then, and we haven't played in a while, but it was a really cool experience for me and a nice break from deployed life for him. All right, final email here. This is Craig Harbison from Marine Corps here. He says, hello, video games were in their infancy when I first joined the Marine Corps. I remember one Christmas time in 1981 when a fellow Marine bought an Intellivision with the Rocky boxing game. There were 6 of us who played the whole weekend. We set up a round-robin tournament to crown a champion, had to stop halfway through because we burned out a controller. Gary went to the store on Monday and bought 2 other controllers. The next weekend, we burned out one of the new ones and one of the original ones as well. I guess you could say we took it too serious. Well, I think that Rocky game was just so good that even back in 1981, you could see it was peak gaming. But hey, thank you to everybody that wrote in. If there are other people, feel free to send in more stories and emails to podcast@gameformer.com. I'd love to hear about that. I love just the details about the challenges of gaming overseas, in particular on these bases. I think they're really interesting.
Yeah, it turns out everybody's big nerds, kind of like the article said.
Yeah, and actually, this Chris guy wrote in as well, and he talked about like having this crazy PC set up, and his commanding officer walked in and was like, what are you doing? Like, are you a hacker? What is this? It's like trying to wrap their minds around it, but it's nice. It's nice to see the military's catching up. USO is on top of gaming.
Yeah.
You feeling good,
absolutely.
JV?
Yeah, no, it was a great trip. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good stuff.
There we go. Check out your article. Okay, you guys, well, not you guys in particular, but does the concept of the podcast want to move on to emails now?
Sure.
Okay, here it is. And welcome back to the Game Informer Show. Some great emails here. I'm joined by the original crew that were here on the podcast. So Suriel, Joe, Jeff, Cork, clapping, but no escape from this prison. We have to answer emails that people sent in to podcast@gameinformer.com. They sent in feedback, news stories they want us to comment on, questions, thoughts, words of wisdom. Basically, I don't know how I'd sum it up, Jeff Cork. I guess you can send in anything that
makes the show better.
Podcast@gameinformer.com. Anything that makes the show better. Every week we choose our absolute favorite and then honor where that person is from by putting a pin on the big board in the sky, they call it.
I hear you've been having trouble with that.
Not in the least. We have places from Paris. We have Los Angeles, Louisville, all the greats, God's country. We also have New Paris. Noah from Pennsylvania put that on the map. New Paris, Pennsylvania. I was like, what a weird town. I've never heard of it. Turns out it has 168 people in it.
We have Little Canada.
Well, there's Little Canada. Also, I'm from a New London, so I feel some kinship to this.
Yeah.
But
do you verify that the places that people put on there are real? Or could I say, like, I'm from Hanson Sucks, Minnesota, and you just be like, well,
I would personally drive out to Hanson Sucks and find that person in that house and shake their hand. Some notable things about New Paris, Pennsylvania, Jeff Cork.
Yes.
They're known for having a phenomenon exist in this town of 168 people called a gravity hill. And you can really fall down a Wikipedia wormhole here. Jeff Cork.
What can you do? What can you
fall into a gravity well. Okay, Gravity Hill. A road in New Paris offers the Gravity Hill phenomenon in which cars appear to roll uphill unaided and even water appears to roll uphill. Then you follow through. So the slope of Gravity Hill is an optical illusion, although sites are more often accompanied by claims that magnetic or supernatural forces are at work. The most important factor contributing to the illusion is a completely or mostly obscured horizon. So it's this weird phenomenon where if it's like a road and there's trees on either side and the road is uphill, but for some reason it looks like it's going downhill, it breaks everybody's brain. There's like this weird YouTube phenomenon where people are like filming their mind-bending examples of gravity hills.
Yes.
And
I watched this. You sent me this with no context, and I'm watching it, and it's this guy talking. He rolls a ball.
What looks like up a hill.
Yeah, that was it.
And your mind was blown.
So, listeners and viewers, if that's the kind of story that you want to send in, that's the kind of thing I think does not make the show better.
Well,
and maybe just refrain
New
from
Paris.
I'm glad I know about Gravity Hill's in New Paris. Yeah, I think it's an interesting phenomenon. I think it's supernatural, personally.
Okay, I don't make the show better. Maybe just kick me out.
Paul Arias writes in, and he corrects himself from last week, saying, "Hey, I wrote to you guys last week about Xbox Game Pass not working on me for PSC. I talked to a friend of mine who was able to play Sea of Thieves with the Game Pass, who doesn't own an Xbox One. He said he's able to download Recore recently as well. So I'm no longer sure what happened to me. It may have just been a screw up and the rep didn't know what they were talking about. So we take that back. Game Pass does work on PC. It's just a limited version.
So let us
Game
know
Pass.
next week if it works or doesn't, and we'll just let you know.
Please do. Okay. Jesus M from National City, California says, hello, Game Informer staff. That's us. Thank you for the very entertaining and informative podcast. Thank you. After going through all the articles, videos concerning E3, it seems many of you are very excited about Cyberpunk 2077. Fair to say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fair to say. My question is, if you could choose any one game that was shown or not shown during E3 to be ready this July 1st, what game would you choose?
Does this have to be a real game? And the reason that it was not shown was because it currently does not exist.
I
in
would
our
say
timeline.
let's keep it to just E3 stuff. Like anything that was shown at E3, if you could just snap your fingers and that thing would be launching July 1st.
Launching in its like completely finished state, so you're not rushing development on something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're just like releasing the demo for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
playing.
just released what we got.
E3 demo, it says.
Look at all this gray space.
What a
It's
wacky
great.
world, Cyber. Serial, what do you think? What's the one game you go for?
Probably Cyberpunk. Either that or Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur 6? Really?
Yeah.
You're that into it?
It's the game that I came out of that show thinking like I definitely want to play some more of this like right now. It's
That's
like the game
wild.
that game left like the biggest itch. But I'll probably like Cyberpunk more. But like I just wanted to go back during that show multiple times and continue playing Soul Calibur 6.
Because of Geralt in it.
Yeah, and also I played Yoshimitsu, and like that's like my favorite iteration of Yoshimitsu they've had yet.
Ah, interesting. Joe, are you a quiet man yourself? That's the...
Oh yeah, I mean, I think everyone is.
Have we made
that-
enough fun of Quiet Man? Leo in the booth, did we really sock it to that game enough, do you think?
Probably not enough.
Okay.
I'm hoping that that's a game like that one BioWare game where like it gets a couple trailers and then just disappears and gets canceled. Like
I think there's a very good chance of that happening.
no
in
one
Quiet
wants
Man.
no one wants to play that game.
Some weird live action version of the bouncer from Square.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that?
They need to do a serious like renovation campaign to make people actually interested in what that
Look
is.
forward to the Quiet Man cover story from Game Informer coming in 2019. It'll be fantastic.
No, for me, it's Devil May Cry. That's the
Oh,
one
interesting.
That's the one I would want out ASAP.
Have you learned anything about that game since the trailer? Have you like dug through the forums? Like, I think a lot of people are confused about, what is this Dante? What is going on here?
I haven't done too much digging on it right now.
Yeah.
To be honest, I really like that trailer. Part of me is like, when a game is at this phase of release, I know that there are some fans who are really into like picking things apart and the speculative nature of it. I don't really get into that so much when it comes to like games that like it's like if I know I'm going to play it anyway,
Yeah.
I would rather just sort of go into it and absorb the game sort of like free of expectation.
Sure.
In the same way that like if you're super into like let's say Game of Thrones and every week you're going on to seeing like okay what does everyone think's going to happen next week in Game of Thrones, either A, you're disappointed because what you wanted to happen didn't happen, or B, you're disappointed because there are no surprises because it was figured out.
Yeah.
You know? So I just kind of like to go into those things as
All right.
free as possible.
But what we learned about the trailer, it looks like it stars Nero.
Yeah.
Help me out. I'm a Devil May Cry idiot. That's Dante's brother.
Nope, that's
No.
Dante's nephew.
Okay. And you could play as both of them in 4?
Yes. Yeah, so 4 was Dante and Nero were the
But first
like,
3 are Dante.
Yes, and
Okay.
Lucia in 2, and Virgil in the special edition of 3, and then there's a special edition of 4 in which you can play as Lady and Trish as like a combo,
Oh, God. Okay.
just like Nero and Dante are a combo. Like certain characters are assigned certain levels.
Okay.
And then you can do Virgil in 4 also, the special edition of 4.
And it looks like everything you want from Devil May Cry based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah. So the character breakdown aside, like it looks like that same kind of like over the top action. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how Devil May Cry responds to sort of a post Bayonetta world, because that like to me,
Or even a post DMC world of just like how are we going to build on like what other people have done in this space,
Right.
including ourselves.
yeah,
Kind of sort of ourselves. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm excited for all that, but
Yeah.
you know,
I keep forgetting because I was writing up another thing while that trailer hit. I keep forgetting that was at E3. It just exists in my mind as like, that's a game that's coming out. I don't associate it with E3 at all.
Right.
The thing I keep seeing about Devil May Cry 5 is the model of like that one new character they showed. showed off, and people being like
the
blown
lady?
away by how good she looks.
In what sense?
Like just the intricacy of her modeling of just like, man, this looks like a character render from like one of those next gen demos. Like this looks so realistic.
Really?
And that's the thing that I have seen the most out of Devil May Cry 5, like on Twitter and stuff.
Weird. It was strange that I think in Phil Spencer's interview on Giant Bomb, I don't know if you guys can correct me, Leo or Suriel, if you listen to that, but he had some way of talking with Devil May Cry, which was really odd, where he's like, yeah, they got it looking like a modern game. Or something where it seemed like it was coming from the other direction of like, we really had to struggle, but it looks like it's worthy of being on stage now, and they barely crossed that threshold. It was a weird phrasing, the way he set that thing up. But I didn't know people were obsessed with that model, but that's cool.
Yeah.
I guess. Jeff Cork.
Yes, sir. Let's just get Last of Us Part 2 out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's another one that looked so good.
You want to play in July.
Yeah.
Heat coming down.
Exactly.
Sweat, tears, everything in one.
No one can judge because they won't know what fluid it is.
That's good. Yeah, you're right. Just no more. I don't want to be teased by any more trailers.
Exactly.
I just want to. I know what I want out of that game. Now give it to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can see like some shocking presentation where characters flayed in real time or something. Just
Right,
let me
right.
experience
Put that all that violence in context for once.
exactly.
Yeah, please. First instinct was Smash. I'm like, wow, that's just December. It's not too long of a wait. And now I'm really torn between Death Stranding. Obviously curious about.
Yeah.
Looking forward to playing that. I think it'll be an interesting week on the podcast when we eventually talk about it. And then also, I am just so curious after seeing this demo of what the community is going to do with Dreams for Media Molecule. I think that might be up there. I think it might be the one game I want to see out just because I want to know what the community does months into that game. Like, the stuff you can build in that game is absurd. And I hope it like ignites some sort of weird new indie game firestorm within that game.
Years of like, hey, check out what they made in Dreams.
I'm sure we'll see it for sure.
We'll see. I mean, there was that potential with Little Big Planet also, and there were certainly some cool little videos and levels that came out of that, but like that didn't catch fire.
I don't know. Somebody did make an Overblood mission in Little Big Planet that we played. I totally hear you though. I still think the potential for Dreams is like 100 times Little Big Planet based on what I've seen so far.
That's not an arbitrary number either.
It isn't. No, absolutely not.
He sat there during the demo and calculated it.
What do you guys think about this? I was thinking about Sony's press conference thingy this year, which, good deep dives, but a little bit underwhelming overall, I think. What if in between every game, or even while they're moving the herd of people over to the new, stage away from the Last of Us Part 2 stage, they just showed like 6 indie games. Like, hey, check out all these indie games coming to the PlayStation 4. And then at the end of the press conference, they had the punchline of, those were all made in Dreams. Those are not real games. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be fun to...
Wait, they're not real games. It's like you can't actually play them?
Well, you can in Dreams, but like if they had names and they psyched sites out, and like if we're writing news stories, we would like write it up for like, Sony
cool.
announced some new indie game.
Correction, this actually isn't a game.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a smart way to like show the range of Dreams to get people excited about it. I think they could have done it, and I hope they do it in a future press conference, even though it's frustrating for people writing news stories based on the show. All right, that went over really well. Melissa Kozart from Tampa, Florida writes in and says, hey, Ben and crew, well, there's a bunch of great stuff to absorb from E3. I'm quite disappointed that Red Dead Redemption 2 was a no-show. I really wanted some kind of gameplay video or something to get me excited for a great game that actually comes out this year. If there was no closed-door demo or anything to report on from E3, are you expecting some kind of Rockstar mini-event or press release? Better yet, perhaps a Game Informer cover story? That'd be cool. He says, I know the game will be awesome. I was just hoping for more of the carrot on the stick to help me get through until fall. It was weird. Red Dead not landing big at E3.
Rockstar has like been consistently absent at E3 though, so I don't know why anyone was expecting there to be that much.
I think they seem to be partnered up with Sony in some way. And remember with GTA 5, they at least touched on it. Remember when that was coming out? They're like, hey, we're releasing headphones. Here's some PlayStation headphones with the GTA logo on them, just to like somehow try and connect those huge things.
Yeah, Rockstar's been absent for a while in terms of like presence on the show floor, but not necessarily on like little sections of platform holders press events.
I think Rockstar has also just been absent for a while in general. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
I don't know, but part of it too, I know this doesn't seem like a lot, but like it was just back in May that they released like the latest big trailer for that. So it just seems like they're kind of marching to the beat of their own drummer in terms of how information for that comes out.
What trailer do you guys most want to see? Would it be showing off online? Would it be kind of the more systems-focused ones that they did for Red Dead 1, where it's like, here's how the world works?
I want to know about online.
You do? More than
for
anything
sure.
else at this point?
Yeah, because I don't want to have the story spoiled for me. I'm comfortable with the amount I know right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
might be surprised.
I'm good. Like, I can wait until September.
Yeah, and I'm basically in the exact same boat. And this is another one that I know I'm going to play anyway, so I don't want to like dive super deep and get things spoiled for me. So and I think Rockstar knows that about their stuff too, that they don't need to sell you on it.
It'll already be the best-selling game this year.
Well, how about this, Ben?
Yeah.
You're watching a trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2.
I like it, Jeff.
Shows the cowboy. He's on the range. And then at the
Writing
end,
my
you
press
learn this
conference
is actually for
thing
Bully
now.
2. It's Bully 2 trailer.
Oh,
Right?
that's
Update.
really
Oops.
good.
And
Yeah.
Bully 2 is being made in dreams.
Exactly.
Do it. It will be made in dreams. There will be a version of Bully 2 in that store within the first week. You know it. All the games you
Kevin's
want.
back, Jack.
Thanks, Media Molecule. Josh Rogers from Athens, Georgia says, "Hey, crew. While Microsoft's Minecraft has been on many products not produced by Microsoft, such as the 3DS, PlayStation, and the Switch, I was completely shocked to see the new Minecraft commercial for the Switch, which emphasized the cross-play with Microsoft. Did you guys see this trailer? They released a cross-play focused trailer for Minecraft, which was like bringing up Switch and Microsoft in this trailer, saying like, hey, play together, share together, have fun together. It's just a weird twist of the knife so recently after the PlayStation Fortnite stuff, but just to like see in a trailer officially produced to have those two companies buddies, it's really bizarre.
It's weird how they ended that trailer with a big middle finger to Sony.
Basically, yeah, more or less.
That makes total sense though, because like at this point, if you're interested in Minecraft, you probably have it on multiple other, like at least one other platform, right?
Yeah.
So to say like, hey, look, we know you've played Minecraft, but if you're playing on Switch, you can also play with other people who have it.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Josh is asking, who do you think benefits the most from that cross-platform, cross-play relationship and like promoting that in a trailer, Microsoft or Nintendo?
Nintendo.
I'd argue the gamers.
Well, Microsoft owns them though.
Right.
So it's like no matter how much Nintendo benefits from sales of that, those are ultimately benefits for Microsoft.
You can't get away from us. Also, they asked, Josh asked, have we reached the point where this stance is hurting Sony more than helping them from a business perspective? Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we had a story run yesterday on the site where, this is from Game Informer's story here, at a Game Lab conference in Spain, Eurogamer asked Sony Computer Interactive America president and CEO Sean Layden about the cross-platform play issue, and Layden had this to say: "We're hearing it. We're looking at a lot of the possibilities. You can imagine that the circumstances around that affect a lot more than just one game. I'm confident that we'll get to a solution which will be understood and accepted by our gaming community, while at the same time supporting our business."
So in other words, just let Epic do the thing they did that one time already.
Right. Flip that switch, which I imagine is just a giant switch under glass somewhere at Epic to allow people to play together again. So it's going to happen. From that statement, something's going to happen before the end of the year.
I don't think so.
Really?
I think they have some sort of like, incentive or whatever that they're not really telling anyone of like, we don't want to do this because, it hurts our business for whatever reason. I just don't see, I guess it's hard for me to see it.
You guys should bet on it.
Oh, make it interesting.
That handsome.
I
Please.
bet. Okay. I'll say that they will allow accounts to come over. Would that be a fair bet?
Oh, I'm thinking like just, I think my standard would be being able to play with PlayStation 4 players.
I don't know if I take that bet.
Because I would imagine that they would let you log in
Yeah.
by the end of the year. But in
Okay.
terms of letting Xbox people play with PS4 people, I
Yeah.
don't think that'll happen this year at least.
Do it.
No, not taking that bet. I'm scared of you, Serial. I know you got those deep pockets.
That's right.
That scare me off, dude.
Nope. I had $5,000 with me that I was going to bet.
He always
All
has
in.
that wad of cash. It's really weird.
Now give me your mug since you folded.
No. Logan Ryan writes in and says, "Hello, GI crew. I'm Logan from Richfield, California. Hello. I want to inject a little gaming positivity after Serial's outburst and ask you all, what is your favorite thing from a recent game you've played? Whether it be a fun gameplay moment, great game design, emotional story, anything that makes you go, I love video games. You guys think of anything recently from a game you played where you thought, that's really good. Video games are good.
I mean, we've touched on it a little bit, but for me, just that Captain Spirit.
Yeah.
If we're talking about like very recent,
Sure.
like I was impressed at the degree to which that can like capture what felt to me like authentic
Mexican.
like an authentic playfulness of boyhood,
Right.
you know, and at the same time handle like complicated issues with nuance. Like, I think being able to say like I love video games isn't necessarily always the like, yeah, that was f***ing rad, you know, but like being able to sort of handle, you know, handle complicated topics sometimes in an interesting way.
But in the realm of, that was effing rad.
Yeah.
I've been playing Raft a fair amount on Steam. It's this early access game, and it's effing rad. It's basically, Life of Pi, where he's like building out that raft in the middle of the ocean, and it kind of seems fun, that like process of like putting the scrap together and slowly expanding this moving base more and more. It lets me fulfill that fantasy, which I've had ever since watching that movie. This is my favorite part of the movie, is just the intricacies and like the systems of that raft that he had to build out. And it's basically that, where you have like a hook and you're throwing it out into the ocean and like dragging debris towards you and then using it to scrap. It's a survival game, and a shark comes by and eats your raft all the time. It's very frustrating. But that's fun, just to fulfill that fantasy that I never really thought could be done in a video game or should be done in a video game.
Not to linger on that game too much, but Soul Calibur 6, I think, playing it at E3, just the simple maneuver of like you knock your opponent out of the ring and it says ring out, and then you run in with them and fall off the edge. That's a fun, good moment that makes me love video games, because there's no reason to do it. It's just a funny thing you can do at the end.
You're totally right. We talked about it in the developer interview at E3 with Forza Horizon 4, but Cork, you'll love this.
Oh yeah,
it's in England, and they rotate through the different seasons.
do the voice.
It's coming up. They rotate through the different seasons, right? And the sheep in the background, they're sheared depending on the season.
Love it.
Isn't that cute?
That's
like the
super
sheep
great.
go with the cycle of the seasons.
Yeah.
That's good video game stuff.
It's good video game stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cork, do you like anything?
Yeah, just a super minor thing that, like, I was playing Overwatch this morning and I almost exclusively played Mystery Heroes. So I was playing Zarya, which is not my favorite character, and I'm running, and there's a Junkrat next to me on my team, and then a Tracer zip zaps out of nowhere and throws her ultimate like sticky bomb at the Junkrat. And I put the little shield on top of the Junkrat. The thing explodes, and he's totally fine because I protected him.
Did he give you like a thumbs up or anything?
I think he probably said thanks.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's great.
It's just a nice like situation where, especially because I play Mystery Heroes a lot, so like those circumstances don't pop up a lot where you're just able to like align a shield like that.
Yeah,
Because I would never pick her if I
Start
didn't.
playing May. Put up ice walls. Turns out it's really fun, and you can block everything for everybody.
like
Oh,
it
if
when
you
do
could
that
block
too.
the exit right before.
Yeah. Stuff like exit.
Yes, and then you say sorry.
Right. That's good. May play.
Hilarious. I love video games.
It's a good game, Joe. Try it. Anyway, Mason Parker from Grand Prairie, Texas says, hey, I have a very simple question. The industry standard review scale seems to be 1 to 10. Why is that? I've seen less than 5s in the magazine, but pretty seldomly. It's not like the difference between a 2 and a 3 would make me want to play the game more. Wouldn't a scale of 1 to 5 be simpler? Joe, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think he kind of touches on the answer there, though, in that like it's the industry standard for it.
Yeah.
So there's just something about like communicating in language that is immediately understandable, and that people don't need to do like a translation to like, okay, so what does that actually mean? Like 2.5 stars, is that average? Would that mean that it's a 7 or a 75, or is that an 80? Or there's I think there's a level of like translation that needs to happen when you do that otherwise.
If you could nuke everything though, would you go 1 to 5? Do you think it's cleaner? Is it just grandfathered in at this point with the 1 to 10?
Boy, I don't even know if I'd do 1 to 5.
Pass fail.
But
Rent, buy, sell.
Heads or tails?
I don't know. Like it's tricky. I guess I see the merit in a lot of different systems for it, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it does just amount to thumbs up or thumbs down. But there are other times when you want to express, I think we were talking about it earlier, a game like Vampire is an interesting one, because even though that doesn't get a good score, there are still like good and interesting things about it.
Oh, State of Decay 2.
And State of Decay 2 is one. Right. Nier Automata is one, where it's like sometimes a score does not accurately or does not fully convey like the some of the positivity or negativity about it, because like it's so reduced in some ways.
Yeah. So if it's like a number and then like an arrow after that showing the promise.
It's like a good 5. It's like a good.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe like a number within a bunch of words that put the number into context.
Oh yeah, that
There are
might be-
words
that
in
might be-
reviews.
I will say that, like, I think when I reviewed The Evil Within 2, I feel like 7.75 kind of made me like, yeah, you know what? That's exactly how I feel about The
Bing!
Evil Within 2. 7.75.
Yeah.
If my review could have just said, yeah, it's a 7.75, I would have just written that instead.
Even Mikami's
And
like,
gotten
they
fired.
nailed it.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
775 is actually a really interesting score, I think, because
It's the freak score.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it says a lot about like this game's pretty good. It's above average, but it's not quite an 8. There's something about
Yeah,
that score
there's
that says a lot.
There's
I
a
think,
benchmark
but-
it's not quite meeting, but otherwise it's pretty good.
Firewatch, Jeff Cork. Classic 775.
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods. Matthew from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Oh, Hamilton, Jeff Cork. What's your single little number? Hey, Jeff Cork's a big Hamilton fan, and so am I. Hey,
those
Ben
pipes.
and friends. I'm a big fan, yada, yada, yada. He says, I was wondering if you could help solve a debate I've been having with some friends. It's tearing their friendship apart.
All right.
Oh, no.
Okay, here's how this is
I
going to
take
work.
the opposite.
This is,
opinion.
we're all going to lock in a number, and then one at a time we'll reveal what that number is. Ready? No changing it based on what other people say.
Nope.
Okay.
How much does Shrek weigh?
How much does Shrek weigh?
Does Shrek weigh?
Do we have to do it in pounds or stone?
Pounds,
Pounds.
please.
Okay.
Okay, I got my number. Serial, what is that number?
Heavily upon my conscience.
That's not a number, dummy.
600 pounds.
Okay.
How dare you try and make this podcast fun?
Sorry.
Joe?
I'd say 800 pounds.
Oh, I'm going like 370 maybe.
I wrote 475 because he's tall.
Yeah.
He's thick.
But he's
Wait.
not like my 600-pound life
Right.
kind of.
Yeah, but imagine
He's
like
tall. He is so tall.
But
Is he
you're
that tall?
comparing him to a cat that walks upright though. So I mean, like he's not that tall.
right. Yeah, Donkey isn't walking on 2 legs. You can't get a good sense. But does he ever ride Donkey?
Joe, our resident Shrek expert.
Come on, man.
No, wait a minute. What is this? What is this? Hold on. I want to make sure it didn't get drowned out that Jeff Cork just said Shrekspert, which is very good.
Wait, Jeff Cork, did you say Shrekspert?
That's what Joe is. He's
Oh
our
my
Shrekspert.
God.
No, that's very good.
He's modeled his life after him. His
But no,
face.
so what's the point of that? Is there a definitive answer, or are we just?
By the way,
Hell do you think? No, there's no definitive answer.
Well,
It's
then
an
what's the
email.
idea?
It's
but so
fun.
how are we supposed to settle this
Yeah,
debate?
more
then?
specifically, what's the big idea?
He
Hang
said,
on.
He said settled a debate with friends. And we just started a debate.
I told you
among
they don't have
ourselves.
different
Well, hang on,
answers.
let's-
This ruins friendships.
Let's do the gumball thing. Okay, hang on. I'll whip out a calculator. Let's average our numbers, and then that is the correct answer that'll settle it. Okay, Serial,
okay.
what'd you go with?
600.
600. Joe?
800.
Cork?
I think I said 370.
Okay, and I'm 475.
We just all pulling out our
Computer, how
phones.
much does Shrek weigh?
That's a spoiler for later, Joe. All right, turns out Shrek's
Who
exact
is
weight
Shrek?
is 561 pounds, 0.25.
Okay.
As
See,
they
that's
say.
why we use that scale.
561. Congratulations. I hope this saves your friendship. All
Joe
right.
is looking it up. What is he
What do you think you're
actually
going to
weigh?
find on the internet?
He's
It's not a
made out
line of
of
dialogue in
ones and
Shrek 5.
zeros.
John from Gulfport, Mississippi, literally, unironically, actually God's country. No. Although, get it on the board. Let's see. He says, hello. Neo 2 hasn't been discussed on the podcast, so here's why you and the listeners should care about it. Neo has the best core combat mechanics of any Souls game, but it had weak level design, low enemy variety, and a stupid loot system. Sounds like great. It sounds like great. If they can fix those issues, Neo 2 could be the best Souls-like game ever. It will certainly be better than the very overhyped Ghost of Tsushima, which looks like another cinematic game
And also not a Souls-like.
Yeah, what?
with mindless Bam-ham combat. Bam-ham?
The Bam Ham.
Is that a phrase? I don't know.
I know.
Anyways, Neo 2. We haven't really talked about it.
I
but-
mean, they didn't really show that much. It was just like a trailer,
Trailer.
saying, hey, by the way.
hey,
Neo
by the
2.
way, yeah, check it out. But John, I'm glad you like Neo. Dan Tech liked it. A lot of people like that.
I've been eyeing it on the Steam sale for a while, thinking I should play Neo.
Oh yeah, they have that weird expanded edition.
That's
on Steam.
my Neo experience.
I think it's interesting though that From Software came out with their own like Japanese. The creators of the Souls-like game are like, when we do Japan, we're not going to actually do our normal thing. We're going to do Sekiro,
Right.
a more third-person action thing.
Take that, Neo. We're thinking outside the box. Jason from Knoxville, Tennessee says, hello, crew. The other day, I was going about my morning ritual of putting on some old replay episodes and hurriedly showering, brushing my teeth, feeding, and waking my dog, and rushing off to my soul-crushing retail job when I started wondering, what are GI's morning routines? Normally I just watch replay as well. No, I like that idea of putting a replay on in the background or getting ready. That's wild to me. What's your favorite episode, Jason? Let us know. He also says, who is a morning or night before shower person? Do you give yourself time for breakfast in the morning? Does Brian Chase spend hours in front of the mirror sculpting his perfect hair? Does Reiner tour what I assume is a James Bond style vault of Cubs hats? Does Cork groom his beard with a fireman's axe? Does Dan practice new disinterested facial expressions on his pets? The people must know. The answer to all the questions is yes. Brian Shea, fun fact, he does have a full 6-foot mirror directly next to his door. So every day before he leaves the house, I think he goes for a full mirror shot.
How many days have passed before, if you had that at your house, you would have either headbutted it or smashed it with your arms?
Or used a thing of soap to draw a space helmet on it like Truman Show? Certainly one of those, yeah.
Or screamed like a monster, saying that you're a monster at it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But look, we're not as good looking as Chase, so joke's on us, right? Are you guys shower at night people?
I used to be a shower at night person.
I don't like that.
Yeah. But then I started running in the morning, so I had to be a morning
Really?
shower
What are you
person.
talking about? You run in the morning?
Yeah.
From what?
I'm a monster!
That's right. I have a 6-foot mirror following me at all times.
How far do you run in the morning? This is interesting.
It's 2 miles.
2 miles? That's crazy. Nonstop?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And then I just run to work.
Really?
No, and then I just go home and do, make breakfast and do sit-ups and stuff.
Hang on. Are you a big healthy guy? Eat some celery, do some sit-ups, having a good time?
It's like spinach, but
What do you have for breakfast?
Spinach omelet with bacon in it.
Bacon, really? Every morning?
Yeah.
So you make bacon every morning?
I'm making bacon every morning.
That's amazing, man. All right, I wake up. I don't have Twitter on my phone because it hurts my brain. So I wake up, and not to get political, but the first thing I do within 30 seconds of waking up is I Google the phrase Trump Twitter.
Oh, really?
I just read what the president has written because it's something to think about, as then jump in the shower and also listen to podcasts with a little podcast shower thing. Then I make 2 eggs, cover them in hot sauce, over hard, and then go to work at 9:40. What do you guys do?
I wake up at 4. I go downstairs and
4.
And then I'll either play Overwatch or just watch shows depending on what day of the week it is.
Why 4?
That's Jeff time.
Yeah, it's just my time. I can do whatever I want.
Is that what it is? It's just no kids are going to bug me.
Yeah.
No dog's going to want to get a little lick on my hand. Yeah. Okay.
Do that, and then 6 o'clock everyone comes downstairs, and then I eat breakfast, and then I take a shower, and then I get dressed.
What's typical breakfast?
Typical breakfast? Do you really want to know? It's
Okay.
really god awful. It's
Yeah.
a couple slices of toast, buttered, and then I sprinkle Tang on it because it is.
That's the grossest
Hold on! How did this boring morning routine just turn into some food horror show?
I would challenge anyone who thinks that sounds awful to try it. I used to have it when I was
Tang!
a kid, but my mom would put Tang on toast. It is,
Do you indoctrinate your kids with this?
no, I'm gonna let them have that.
I hope it's the powdered version, and it's not just you mix a thing.
No, it's the powder.
and
What
then
kind of animal do you think I am?
Soggy toast. Yeah, what kind of animal do you think I am? I just put powdered Tang
I
on my
do the
butter
powdered
chips.
version. I'm not some
Astronaut
animal.
drink.
I get a little bit of cinnamon on there, but dang. You also drink Kool-Aid as an adult man every day, so I don't know if I
Kool-Aid
judge.
in there right now, actually.
I know. I don't know if I can trust your liquid intake.
I'm a monster.
Oh, thank me.
Yeah. Seriously, everyone should try it. It's delicious.
All right.
Okay, I wake up at 6.
out of bed.
I go let the dogs out. I take a shower. I drink some coffee. Usually have a couple pieces of toast, peanut butter and jelly on it.
When do you let the dogs back in?
Yeah, whatever.
I thought that joke was good because I was going to say it.
But then, then I kind of like Jeff. That's I use the morning for a lot of gaming time.
Really?
Yep.
God, I rarely game in the morning unless I'm trying to get over layover from Japan or something. That's kind of fun when you can't help but wake up at 4 a.m. and then it's all right, time to find some old game to play. It's good gaming time.
Yeah. Normally from 7 to 9:30, and I'm playing something.
Sweet. Okay, Eric from Discovery Bay, California says, hello, Game Informer goats. Thank you. E3 is my favorite time of the year. As a 30-year-old gamer, I still feel giddy now, as did when I first learned about the expo. He used to sneak in. He had a great time. With this year's E3 beginning the conversation of next-generation consoles, I remember back to how boring E3 was the year before Xbox One and PS4 were announced, since no one could talk about their next-gen games. So I figured this year would have the same feeling. I was delightfully surprised at the amount of information in the upcoming games that were announced. I think the next 12 months are going to be the best ever. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting choked up. Going to be the best ever for the gaming community, and I can't wait to play all the new titles. That being said, what hardware specs do you absolutely need to see in next-gen consoles in order to get excited about them?
SSD.
You need that SSD?
Nah, I mean, it would be nice, but I'm not, salivating over the idea, but...
Would 10 teraflops of power be enough for Microsoft? Yes or no? What would instantly make you think one console could win over the other?
I like that little flourish at the end there.
That's because I misspoke and I was trying to course correct.
A lot of verbal flourishes coming in today. I feel like the two things that I keep hearing about sort of next gen stuff is like streaming from like some consoles, which I'm not super excited about. But I keep hearing about, like we're going to be able to do really good AI this time. Like with whatever next gen hardware we're going to have like, more populated worlds, better AI. So like,
are you just basing this solely on Phil Spencer saying the word AI at the press conference?
No, because when I went in to visit Midwinter for their announcement of their new game.
Oh yeah.
Scavengers, they talked a lot about like the next generation of hardware is just going to be super oriented around, like at least for us anyway, is going to be a lot about making AI smarter. And so like I'm very curious to see if that's just them sort of talking a big game, or if that's just going to be a consistent trend of like, we're kind of done. Like graphics are going to look better, obviously, but we're kind of hitting diminishing returns. So we're kind of like shifting gears to trying to find like more substantive ways to make use of like increased horsepower.
Is Scavengers a next gen game?
They haven't announced anything about it really, but like I imagine like it's far enough out that it might be. But.
Okay. Huh. That's interesting. I would love to know from some super techie devs about like, what are the limits of AI now? Like, I don't understand why just more RAM would help out with AI. I'm not smart enough to understand, like, is it just you can hold more prompts or suggestions, lines of code for AI? I know nothing about that.
I think the next step, like right now, guards think they're just hearing things.
Oh, okay.
The next step is that they will realize that the friend didn't die of old age. They'll go investigate.
That sounds pretty good. I'm excited about next gen now.
There's that moment in the Tomb Raider demo that I just loved at E3, which is like Laura's in the bushes, has a bow. There are two guards. One turns around for like a minute and walks away. Laura kills the other guy. He just falls down. Then the guard turns around and is like, a body. Looks recent.
This is moments after they've had a radio conversation about Lara Croft is in the area.
Right.
Look out.
The known killer could be just stalking from the
feet
away.
Looks recent. Also, I was talking to him 10 seconds ago.
It's so sad.
That's what I'll say if I ever find one of you guys sprawled out in the office. Looks recent. Not, oh no, Joe. I'm sad. So sorry, my friend.
Yeah. There's something about that question. Like, obviously, whatever the specs of a new generation of console are going to like enable some cool experiences.
Yeah.
But I don't get excited about the specs.
No.
Right? Like, you get excited about how they're used.
How is the guy with the gun game going to be better?
Well, I think there is a little bit of excitement in like the comparison of the specs. I think there is certainly the internet's going to grab a hold of it, but like whichever console has more RAM in it, like people are going to declare that they won the generation already, right? Like whichever RAM will use less of the OS and all that stuff, just like last gen.
Do you think next gen will have optical drive?
I bet Microsoft won't.
Yeah.
I know. I still think we're dealing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
UHDs are probably going to be enough of an incentive.
An external one, an option for people who don't have good,
Well,
reliable internet.
in theory, if like Microsoft has that platform, which people are reading into because he said consoles on stage, the idea that one is going to be kind of like a little Steam Link streaming option is going to be super cheap, and then in theory they'll have another one for people that don't have a good internet connection. Maybe that would still have an optical drive then, just to support people with discs, because it's like, well, for the rest of the world, if you can't get the Steam Link option or the streaming option, then your internet probably sucks, so therefore you don't want to download games, so here's a disc. So yes,
there are other reasons to not want to download games too, I feel like.
Yeah.
Name 4.
But Well, I guess for me, I don't know that I can come up with 4.
I'm sorry.
But like
That's
a
stupid.
big one for me is just like, when you get things like games being removed from servers or,
Right.
like taken off of Steam or whatever. Like the idea, PT is a good example of that, where it's like, if you were able to get that on disc, you could just have that and play it. And people wouldn't be like hoarding their old consoles because it has this like archaic piece of software on it,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, so I'm just saying there are like, maybe those concerns are small enough that they feel that they can wipe those away and not have to worry about it. But like
People would be pissed.
I still buy discs sometimes.
Yeah.
so.
I like it just because I can give them to a friend. Like,
Yeah.
As PlayStation did early in the generation, they showed us the video of handing it to another person. Remember how weird the launch of the last generation was?
It was very mean.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm looking forward to that fight again. I don't think it'll be as good and as epic as that last brawl, but
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, not unless, because like I remember coming off of that previous coming off of Xbox and PS2 when Sony was talking about PS3, you were just sort of feeling like, I remember going into the Sony press conference that they revealed that the infamous one, the $599 US giant enemy crabs. Like,
Yeah.
I remember sitting outside before that press conference and just being like, wow, PS2 is like so dominant right now. We've seen Microsoft sort of like their 360 is sort of, was it out at that point or announced?
must have been out. Yeah.
But point being is just sort of like, this is Sony's prize to lose here. And they just totally lost it.
Yeah.
And it feels like we might be in a similar situation here, whereas like the PS4, I think has the more units out there. It's easy to go into it saying like, Sony can just maintain its lead, but they
I
can
don't think
also
so.
just get consumed by hubris again and make some huge mistake.
If I were a gambling man, and I am, I bet next generation Microsoft takes it.
Cereal, you gonna take that bet?
You want to take that bet, Serial?
No.
Come on. We'll remember it 4 years from now. It'll be great.
I'm putting away my $5,000.
Dumb little story. At E3, I was seeing that Mavericks game, which they pitched as like, oh, we're going to have 1,000 players. It's next gen battle royale. They kept saying like, this is next gen. This is next gen. I was like, so what's this coming to then? Like console wise, PS4 and Xbox One and PC. It's like, you can't just go around and call this thing next gen 1,000 times. Like, not literally. When like that's the talk of the show.
Don't
Is
be
these
stupid,
games are
sir.
next gen. Yeah, come on, everybody. Speaking of next gen, Aaron from Cleveland, Ohio wrote in because I asked him to, because he sent me a tweet and I said, that's interesting. Please write in about it. He loves his Raspberry Pi. Jeff Cork, do you have a Raspberry Pi?
I do.
Okay, for those that aren't in the know, Aaron writes in, he says, Raspberry Pi is basically a very small $35 computer with a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core processor and a gig of RAM, 4 USB ports, Ethernet port, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, the hard drive, his micro SD card, and it's got everything you need. He's running all sorts of great stuff on it. He says that they actually have install modules. So you can play Quake 1, 2, and 3, Doom, Duke 3D, Descent on there. He talks about like how now people, with a recent update because of Steam Link working on phones, that like the Android community is eventually going to be able to bring that over to Raspberry Pi, and that's going to be crazy once you can just stream right to that thing. Also, I had no idea this existed, but apparently there's only one game, as Aaron says here, only one game that's ever been made and released for the Raspberry Pi itself. Can you guys guess what it is?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Correct.
Yes.
One of the greatest games of all time.
The Walking Dead adventure game.
Interesting.
Is it a weird fork of Minecraft?
Jeff Cork, Minecraft Pi Edition. Several people have run Minecraft servers off of Raspberry Pis. I believe a lot could be done with the platform, and he's actually going into game development so he can make games just for Raspberry Pi. But I love that, the Minecraft Pi Edition. That's so weird. Anyways, just informative little thing. He says that it's an amazing future, and there's tons of ideas for it. So people should support the Raspberry Pi more. Cool. Thanks, Aaron. Favorite email of the week?
Favorite email of the week.
There's one early on that we all got into a tear on.
How much does Shrek weigh?
No, before that.
Okay, there's which game would you want released July 1st?
That one.
Okay, other options,
I like the morning routine
cross-platform stuff, the nice, you love video games because of this tiny thing. Next gen, I think, was interesting. Serial, where are you leaning?
I like the morning routine one.
Oh, really?
I always like learning about my fellow editors.
That's Game Informer. We don't need to do that.
That's what people want sometimes, Joe. Jeff Cork, where are you leaning?
I like the July 1st question.
Yeah.
That's me too.
Okay.
Sure.
I think that's tough to beat. I think I might be next gen, but I'll go with the majority here. I'll cede it to
Where are they?
July 1st. Oh, this is Jesus M from National City, California. Second
thank
California
God.
town on the map.
Sigh of relief, you know where California is.
How dare you. Congratulations,
Where in
Jesus. Which on the big board? Officially God's country from Jesus. There we go. It's all taken care of. For now, also remember to write in podcastgameover.com. It'll be a good time next week. But for now, let's transition over to an audio game, right, Joe Juba?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay, hope you're all ready for a Jurassic World audio game. It's a weird ride. Here we go. And welcome back to the Game Informer Show. We're here for something strange, something odd, something prehistoric. I'm here with Andrew Reiner,
Hey.
Dantak,
Hey.
and Joe Juba.
Hey.
Joe Juba continuing the legacy of the God of War text adventure, which everyone else said I want no part of. Miller insisted on having a kid so he wouldn't have to be involved this time around.
Yep.
But we have somebody better than Miller, better than the DM himself. Well, Andrew Reiner, kind of sort of in spirit. But no, now we have Computer! Explain why you're better than Miller.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Welcome to Amazon Echo, everybody. So what this is, we got an Echo Dot in the office that was sent to us. We've rigged it up. We've changed the name to Computer because it's cooler and kind of more Jurassic World in general. And so they made a Jurassic World voice adventure game. It's very bizarre, but it is created by the co-creator of Day the Tentacle, Dave Grossman, who was at Telltale for a million years. He's on the podcast years ago, if you remember that. So there's some talent behind this thing. Other than that, and the fact that I know how to start it, I don't know anything about how this is going to go.
Okay.
Computer. How did dinosaurs mate?
Oh, Reiner, please.
I am still learning more about dinosaurs. You can hear some dinosaur trivia by saying, "Give me a dinosaur fact."
Oh my God. Computer, give me a dinosaur fact.
The sauropods were the largest and heaviest dinosaurs.
More.
Hey, computer.
Very good.
What was the most delicious dinosaur?
I am still learning more about dinosaurs.
Oh, God.
You can hear some dinosaur
shut up,
trivia by saying,
computer!
"Give me a dinosaur
Shut up!
fact."
This is not okay, Computer. Thanks a lot, Jeff Bezos.
Hey, computer, play that Skyrim game instead. Yeah, okay.
All right, this is going to be great. So what we're doing here, there's not going to be, I don't think, any Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom spoilers. Has anybody else seen that movie at this table?
No.
Oh my God. All right, perfect. I saw it last night.
I wanted to experience it this
What's
way.
the verdict?
You know,
No spoilers, obviously.
obviously no spoilers. I'm sitting on it. I think I might like it more than Jurassic World. At least it's swinging for the fences, and I appreciate that. But then also at the same time, I think back and it's like, I didn't really laugh. Wasn't really scared through the entire movie. Didn't care about the characters. But conceptually, I'm into it because it's weird. It is. People make too much of this analogy, but in some ways, it does feel a little bit of like The Last Jedi formula for the Jurassic series. Nowhere near as good as The Last Jedi. Nowhere near as good. But in terms of kind of upending things for the future, it's in the same vein. And
So everything that makes it a movie in terms of execution is bad, but what it was before it became a movie, that's good to you.
if someone brought this pitch to me, I would say, yes, I want to see that movie. And that's more than I could say for like The
and then you
Incredibles
see
2.
the
even.
movie and you're like, I'm sitting on it. I don't know.
People in the theater laughed, and I guess we're scared. And there's like some cool shots and some cool moments throughout it. But
It sounds
I
like
don't-
something I should see.
Reiner, you will love this movie. 100% guaranteed. It feels much more in that sci-fi film vein, which I know is your favorite category of film. Okay, now let's get to audio adventures here, everybody.
Let's do it. Let's play.
Computer, open Jurassic World.
Welcome back. Since you don't have any current story progress, let's get you started.
Jurassic World Revealed, Chapter 1.
Hi there. You're listening to Frankly Best, your go-to podcast
Hey, computer.
for cutting-edge journalism and new angles on stories you thought you knew. I'm Janet Best, and this week I am recording in what is possibly the coolest location on the planet, Isla Nublar. With me, as always, is my faithful producer and confidant, Jesse. Jesse, say hello.
Hi.
Jesse, say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Word has come down from the Senate Special Committee that the U.S. government will take no action on Isla Nublar. But Frankly Best has received a tip that the Dinosaur Protection Group has come here themselves to rescue the dinosaurs before the volcano erupts, which experts have been predicting could happen at basically any moment.
Footsteps?
This is Frankly Best, where we seek the truth and tell it. Stay tuned. And done. All right. I think that opener was okay.
Hey!
Oh!
You didn't say there would be more people on the island.
I thought you weren't going to get off the boat.
Other people means more dangerous. You get caught, maybe I get caught.
We've done this kind of thing before.
You don't even notice me right behind you. You get caught, I don't get paid. Give me the rest of the money now. Then I will wait for you.
That's not what we agreed on.
We'll agree on it now.
I feel like I'm right there.
I don't like this, Jesse. It seems like if we don't give him the rest of the money, he's going to sail away the minute we turn our backs. But I'm worried that if we do give it to him, he's got no motivation to wait for us. Ooh. Tell me, do we pay him or stick to the deal?
Pay him double.
Stick to the deal.
Sell your soul, Jesse.
Tell me, do we
pay
him or stick to the deal?
Pay him.
All right.
So you want to go around
That's
the horn?
all of it.
One at a time.
Okay.
It's attack, you get the next
It's
one.
good. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. If there's any trouble getting back here, or if you have to move the boat, we'll use this radio to contact... I can't believe I just did that. Oh, I can't hold on to anything for 5 seconds without breaking it.
Pick up radio.
Not sure what to do now.
Here, you take this. You
Money.
need to contact me.
Right,
You
this
shoot
is a
off the
speak
flare.
when spoken to
Be
affair.
careful.
Oh.
There's only one. Don't break it.
Whoa!
Break
Thanks. Let's divvy this stuff up. I'll carry one of these, you take the other. Would you rather carry the flare gun or the first aid kit?
The flare gun.
Cool. Just don't let it go off by accident.
Go off.
If we made the right choice about Mr. Mora,
Fire flare
if he doesn't
gun.
stick around, we could be in
Add
real
money.
trouble. Here, would you rather take the binoculars or the chocolate?
Chocolate.
Great, I got the binoculars. All right, I think we're set.
We're really doing a good job.
Let's get moving.
Crushing this.
We're going to survive this island.
We got a flare gun and chocolate.
Jesse and I are heading out along the old monorail path.
Podcast within a podcast. This is
Towards
the
the
first.
center of what was
really
once
weird.
the
Good
Jurassic
app, hot
World
app.
theme park. I have to admit to a bit of anxiety. Like I said before, we're here under the radar.
Inventory?
We decided that it would be easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. But I couldn't let a story like this go unreported. Our situation exactly parallels that of the dinosaurs who live on this island.
Not really.
Profound.
We're alone.
Yeah.
Without legal status or support, and in imminent physical danger. The one difference is that we have a home to go back to, while the dinosaurs do not.
Aww.
But perhaps DPG has arranged for some new sanctuary where they can live in peace.
Dinosaur group.
Build houses for dinosaurs.
Weirdly, I kind of wish they would build a new park.
Out of other dinosaurs.
It's a shame that there are dinosaurs and no one can see them except on TV.
And feed them to dinosaurs also.
How about it, Jesse? Simple yes or no. Do you think they should build a new park?
No!
Yeah, you're probably right.
Probably.
Something always seems to go wrong. And the dinosaurs get...
Every time it seems that way.
Here's something. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And now we are having our first dinosaur encounter.
Orgasm.
This is... Wow, this is really incredible.
Yeah, okay.
Seeing them on television cannot convey how enormous, how amazing these creatures are.
What a good podcast.
Oh, okay.
The dinosaur is coming right up to us as we walk along the monorail path. It's a plant eater.
See it.
The one with the row of vertical plates down its back.
Yep.
And the spiky tail.
Who can recall?
It's a Stegosaurus, stupid.
And my brain is completely broken. I can't just call it the one with vertical plates and a spiky tail. Do you remember?
Give Stegosaurus
Is it that one
chocolate.
called Stegosaurus or Dimetrodon?
Dimetrodon.
Right. Thanks.
Maybe that also, I bet that also looks like a
Try that again.
Stegosaurus.
The dinosaur
choice.
is coming right up to us as we walk along the monorail path. We can tell by the vertical plates
big.
along its back and its spiky tail that it's a Dimetrodon. Now this is a big dinosaur. It's an herbivore, but so is a moose.
You can just Google the picture of a dinosaur. I
Just
don't
like a
want to
moose,
hear a
the
vague
sheer
description
size
on
of
a
this
podcast.
magnificent
It's like if we're
creature
describing what an
creates
elephant
some
looks
danger.
like for 15 minutes.
Anyone lucky enough to get
Okay,
this
yeah.
close to one should be taking the appropriate precautions.
Joe looked up Dimension
Except,
totally fits the bill
Jesse,
too.
I'm not 100% sure what those are.
I don't know that it has a spiky tail.
I know there's different things you're supposed to do when you meet different animals. Some you can scare away,
Who are
but
these
some you
people?
don't want to startle. Some can be distracted by food, and it's still coming. What do you think? Should we scare it, freeze, or give it food?
Flare gun.
Give it food.
Oh. Flared
As
lunch.
with many animals, the way to cement a friendship with a Dimetrodon is to offer it food. Hold still, Jesse. I'm gonna get one of those chocolate bars out of your pack.
Chocolate bar for a
Let's
dinosaur?
see if our new friend
kill it.
appreciates the finer things in life.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever
Go,
heard.
girl.
That's like someone giving you a
And it
single,
would
like,
seem she does.
chocolate shaving.
The dinosaur has gobbled down the chocolate with enthusiasm.
And Jesse's torso.
Oh. But, as we should all remember, people food often isn't good for animals.
Oh.
Chocolate especially. Poop. I should have remembered that.
What, did it just crap instantly?
Huh, that's interesting.
This is my kind of dinosaur.
Now that the
This rings a
dinosaur
bell.
has turned away from us, I can see that one of her back legs is injured.
Oh no.
It's a very straight,
It's got some sort of
even-looking gash
poop-related
about
injury.
2 inches wide.
Pooped its leg off.
Definitely doesn't look like a bite or claw mark. And I think I can see... Yes, there is something sticking out of her flank. That's weird. I really want to get a closer look.
Is this still the podcast, or is
tail.
she just talking to Jesse?
It's covered with spikes and she keeps twitching it.
This isn't a very good game.
If I try to get near her back leg, I might get hit. What do you think? Should I risk going closer? Yes or no?
Yes.
Bold decisions.
I knew I liked you. All right, let's do it.
Do what?
I also love how Jesse is
Easy,
just
girl.
This is the silent partner.
She does
he's
it.
capable of interacting in
friendly.
only the most minimal
See?
way.
We just want to help.
We're running out of sound effects in our library.
The
Hurry.
injuries truly horrific.
Some
The
sort of
wound extends
ice cream
even
truck
further than I
dinosaur.
thought. In a ring around the entire back left leg. It's maybe 2 inches wide and very even.
Can we get ourselves eaten?
This is
I want to know
no
what that sounds
predator's
like.
mark. The object stuck in the dinosaur's side is a tranquilizer dart. A huge one.
We're not alone on this
Partially
island.
discharged. She seems pretty calm now.
I think those are the sounds from
I think I
Lost
can reach
World
the
of the
dart.
Stegosaurus.
Oh, maybe that's dangerous and crazy. I don't know. Should I try to pull it out? Yes or no?
No. Let it
Yeah,
die.
you're right. Our role
I
as
like how
journalists
Jesse
is to
occasionally
observe.
just shouts.
And sometimes that
one
means
word
leaving
answer.
stuff
We
like this
revealed
to
at the end that
train
Jesse's a
people.
parrot.
PPG. We're helping in our own way by reporting the story. Speaking of which, let me just record a closer for this bit.
This wacky bit.
As we watch, the dinosaur returns to its journey through the jungle.
Wobbly.
She's limping slightly,
Drunk on
obviously
chocolate.
bothered by the slash across her leg. These creatures are
Still
so
crapping
enormous,
periodically.
so magnificent. And it's easy to forget how helpless they really are. All our new friend's armored plating won't protect her from the looming volcano, from the imminent threat of extinction.
Really
It
makes you
takes
think.
humans to do that.
About
Fortunately,
other games I could be
the
playing.
dinosaurs have the Dinosaur Protection Group. Hey, wait a minute. Where are those binoculars? Oh, right, I've got them. Down there. That's our boat. Headed out to sea.
The Dimetrodon's on the boat!
Hey, get
He's
back here.
driving it. Oh, what do you know? That guy
I can't
drove away.
believe it.
We knew he would.
I can't believe it.
Literally,
The creep
he
took
said
our
it.
money and now he's leaving us behind.
You said he was going to do it.
To his face.
Well,
Probably gave him
That's
the
a problem.
idea.
You presented us this choice. Game. This
we're
is
going
what
to have
happened.
to improvise a way off the island.
Swim.
You have reached the end of Chapter 1
Oh my
out of 6
lord.
total chapters.
Oh, no.
Although this concludes the free experience, A premium purchase will grant access to the remaining chapters of your story.
Spend Benny Hansen's
Will
money.
you and Janet explore Isla Nublar alongside the Dinosaur Protection Group to uncover the new mysteries of Jurassic World?
Yes, yes, for love of God, yes!
Or no?
Yes! Is there a price tag in there?
Including over an hour of interactive audio adventure.
Yes!
Jurassic World
Buy
Revealed
it.
includes 6 total chapters of
Okay.
story.
You
Available
have
We want
for
it! How
one-time
much? We
purchase.
love it!
Prime members save $125. Without Prime, your price is $4.99 plus tax. Would you like to buy it?
Yes, for the love of God, yes. Janet needs me, yes.
Including over an hour of interactive audio
Yes!
adventure. Jurassic World
Oh my
Revealed
God.
includes 6 total
All right,
chapters
let's
of
not blow it.
story.
All right, one
available
simple yes.
as a one-time purchase. Prime members
God,
save
the future's
$125.
awesome, you guys.
Without
sucks.
Prime, your price is $4.99 plus tax. Would you like to buy it?
Yes.
Great. You now have Jurassic World Revealed.
Continue story.
That's a problem.
It is
I
indeed.
guess we're gonna have to improvise a way off the island.
Drown your way off the island.
But we can worry about that later.
Oh,
Right now,
more
we
exciting than
need to
anything's
push
happened
on.
on this.
I'm going to shut off the recorder to save on batteries.
Oh,
Chapter 2.
Off mic. Janet's a
How many
This is
Sam
Janet
Neill
Best of
action
Frankly
figures
Best,
are there?
where we seek the truth and tell it.
Probably a lot.
My producer Jesse and I are now standing on the empty main street of the old Jurassic World Park. In the distance, the volcano looms. We can hear its ominous rumbles.
I feel like I'm there.
Unlike Pompeii, this volcano will not freeze forever a busy and bustling world, where children once squealed with delight at
It'll freeze
dinosaurs.
pterodactyls midair.
Now old travel brochures and park maps blow down the deserted main street,
I refuse to believe that John
where
Hammond
families
decided
made
to
memories
build
together,
Jurassic Park on
doors
an
to empty
active
shops creak in the
volcano.
wind.
Seems like a mistake.
There is nothing quite so desolate
flea
as
circuses,
an
man. They
abandoned
really
theme
got to
park. And this shell of Jurassic World, this ghost of the most unique theme park to ever exist, is even more heartbreaking than most. That might have been too much. Give me your honest opinion. Was that too over the top?
Yes.
Cool it, Janet.
Yeah, I was kind of afraid of that.
Yeah.
I want it to be memorable.
Redo
it. Emotionally
Please,
affecting.
God, no.
But that might have
Let
crossed
us
the line
record your
into
intro.
cheesy. I'll re-record it later.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Basically, all
On one
Sam
side
Neill
of the
action
street,
figures are
we
Jurassic
can
Park
see the
related.
Hammond Creation Lab, where brilliant
Hunt
geneticists,
for the Wilder People action
magicians
figures.
of the scientific era, recreated extinct species out of fossils and fairy dust. Nearby is the Mosasaurus Lagoon, once the delight of children and families. But in front of it lies what appears to be the actual carcass of a dinosaur. It slumps in the dirt in
What's
grim
hilarious
contrast
about
to
that,
the
man?
lagoon,
I don't know.
reminding us that even dinosaurs are not invincible.
They just left a dead
A
dinosaur.
little further along the street
left
is a
everything.
restaurant with desperate tire tracks in the dirt out front.
Daniel, a restaurant
And
that
its
is.
door propped open, ready to welcome customers who will never come.
Buy number
Let's
2.
pick one of these places and check it out.
Margaritaville, baby.
We're going.
Your
Should
favorite
we go
restaurant.
to
We're going there.
the Creation Lab, the lagoon, or the restaurant?
The restaurant.
We're hungry. We gave away our chocolate.
Good idea.
Hungry.
It's a mozzarella
Everyone
sticks.
likes the human interest
Take us
angle.
away to
Jalapeno
Margaritaville.
poppers and dinosaur bites.
Standing at
There's
the
a
door,
bell.
you can imagine
So
the
customers
happy
know when
families
you're
with
on Jurassic
excited
World.
children crowding the tables, enjoying lunch on a brief break from their once-in-a-lifetime experience
I
of
never had that
visiting.
experience.
Why hasn't this
Live
place been
dinosaurs.
evacuated if the volcano's
Now it is
rumbling?
silent.
No, it's a vacuum. She's
And dark.
talking about poetically.
Oh.
They were there.
Once
The disappointing side of human nature has also been demonstrated here.
Oh, Lord.
The register has been broken open and emptied,
Who did that?
and it appears that
Who still
every
uses
single
cash?
bottle of alcohol has been
Velociraptors.
removed from the bar.
They've learned how to use money.
This conjures up a less pleasant picture than parents and children
pretty
enjoying
soon
their
they'll be
lunch.
using Napster to get
Now
their
we
music.
visualize looters taking advantage of the evacuation of the park. Except that doesn't completely make sense. It seems weird that anyone would take the time when
Yep.
they're being chased by a predator.
Get out of that
Maybe this
restaurant.
happened
You're not
sometime
alone.
Here in the corner
No one
are
came
the
from the
remains
house.
of a lunch. Oh, this is interesting.
It's not.
Not desiccated remains of theme park food, but instead wrappers from the same kind of camping meals Jesse and I are carrying. And
Clones.
some open cans of creamed corn. All told, enough to feed 6 or 8 people.
Or one raptor.
I think we... Shoot.
One
Jesse,
crapping
I really want to
raptor.
say we found DPG, but I can't be completely sure.
Velociraptor.
The rappers could have been here ever since the evacuation. I don't think the corn could have been here very long.
creamed
It doesn't
corn did not
look or
sit
smell
well.
rotten, but
Don't
I
feed the
really want
animals.
to know
We
for
learned
sure. I guess I could taste it to be completely sure.
Yes,
but
eat it all.
that sounds a little crazy.
It's a good
What
pod.
do you think? Should I taste it or play it safe?
Taste it.
She's gonna die.
Get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of journalism, I am about to sample this corn so that we can tell
You're
for
on
sure
a
how
dinosaur
long this
island.
is.
No one cares about you eating goddamn
Bold
corn.
new frontier. Creamed corn. No one's
Not
ever
the
eaten
most
this.
delicious thing I've ever had, but definitely not rotten. I estimate it was opened no longer ago than yesterday.
Oh,
Please
good.
don't ask how I
Food
know what 2-day-old
freshness
canned corn
expert.
tastes like. That's an entirely different podcast. Anyway,
Don't
I
start
think
it.
we're finally on the track of the
The worst
DPG.
podcast ever.
Looking around,
Which one are
I
you
would
talking
imagine
about?
they got the canned
That
corn
one.
from the
Okay.
storeroom back over here. Yes, the door's open, and there are cans missing from the row on the eye-level shelf. And here's something on the floor. A credit card. By the dings and scratches on it,
It's
I
been
would
used.
infer that it was used to jimmy the storeroom lock. The name on the card is Stone Heist Tanner. There probably aren't that many people with that name. So
No, probably
Stone
not.
should be easy to track down once
this
we're
someone we
someplace
know
we can
in the
communicate.
universe?
We do
with
now,
again.
Joe. We do now.
With any luck, Stone will have a particularly interesting angle on DPG's rescue mission, and I'll be able to share an exclusive interview with you, my listeners.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, what a
Hey,
hot
Justin.
How many listeners?
You've managed to make a dinosaur island boring.
Yeah.
Since we
What
found
are the
out
odds you're
more
just
about
talking into a
us,
conch
I've been
shell?
wondering if we have enough food for an extended stay. I mean, I wasn't panicking or anything, but it's pretty lucky we stumbled on this stuff. So maybe we should take some cans along? The only thing is, they're going to be heavy, and we might not want to lug them around. Particularly since it might be not that big a deal
You're gonna have
to
a tough
come
choice
back
here,
here.
man.
What do you think? Should we take some corn or travel light?
Travel light, baby.
Oh, we're gonna
What?
regret
I want
that.
some
We're
of
gonna
that
regret
corn.
that.
Yeah, we don't want to risk getting too tired. Let's head back outside to see
100
what else we
pounds
can
of
find.
corn traveling across Jurassic
It's like Oregon
Now
Trail
that I
all
look more
over again.
closely, the tire
Instead of
tracks
buying
tell
bullets,
the
you're
same
just
story
buying
as the
corn.
canned corn.
I'm the banker.
They haven't been here long either.
corn baker.
We're close on the track of the DPG now.
Oh, we're catching up to him.
So,
Here we go.
I was thinking we should... Shoot. I hope no one heard that.
Raptor in the kitchen. Raptor in the kitchen.
It is a raptor in the
If
kitchen.
Someone heard that. Let's, quick, hide in the gift shop.
We need more footsteps on our
Old-timey
GI Show podcast. Apparently, it's the key to good
So you can tell by
podcasting.
those little knobby horns over its eyes and its little stubby arms, and it's only one of the most dangerous carnivores that ever lived. But this will be great audio for the podcast.
God.
Tell me, does it
Get
seem
that
more
story.
exciting or scary?
Boring?
Tell me, does it seem more exciting or scary?
Scary.
Come on, it's only sniffing around. That's what carnivores do.
She's dead. We can only hope.
I think it's following our scent. It's in the restaurant now.
Oh God.
So
This is the first inning in Jurassic World
it'll
Evolution. This is
probably
a
come
little
here
tingle.
next. But let's not panic. We need a plan. The way I see it, we have 3 options. We can barricade the doors, we can run for our lives, or we can try to mask our scent with that perfume over there. How about it? Barricade the doors, run for it, or mask our scent.
Mask our scent.
With something that'll enrage it.
Ardonics by Cecile Chiron? Fine, whatever.
Stupidest idea ever.
She's not falling for it. We gotta go. Maybe get behind the pillar in the corner or make a break out the side door.
Stand real still.
What do you say?
Stand behind the
corner?
pillar.
Or the side door?
Pillar.
What do you say? The corner
Oh,
or the side door?
corner.
What do you say? The corner or the side door?
Corner.
Takes the pause for you to answer. Jesse must have just severe brain damage at this point.
It's
all that,
It's that poison corn.
Maybe if we don't move,
All that perfume.
he won't be able to see us. Or we could shoot it with the flare gun. Should we freeze or shoot it with the flare?
Shoot it with the flare!
Oh, he's really pissed now.
Oh, he didn't like that. Oh, great.
What's it doing? Like, what is this space? Is it
I
just...
guess the flare scared it. The volcano.
Chapter 3.
We're done.
Wait a minute.
No, one more. No.
That's no
Oh, yeah.
volcano.
Do you think there's a fail state?
We're
We've been
doing
trying
our
to get
best.
it. We've been trying to obtain that fail state.
This is Janet Best of Frankly Best, where we seek the truth and tell it.
Best.
My producer Jesse and I are behind an information kiosk outside of the Jurassic World Innovation Center, where we are witnessing an unexpected sight. What we mistook for rumbling from the soon-to-erupt volcano has proven instead to be a small convoy of armored vehicles. I assume we have discovered the Dinosaur Protection Group's rescue effort.
Hell yeah.
Although I have to admit to some confusion. I would not have expected DPG to be driving trucks that look quite so military.
Oh boy, some
Convoy is
sinister stuff.
stopping.
Yeah, really creepy stuff going on there.
Oh, wow! They're stopping for a Brachiosaurus,
Oh,
one of
majestic.
the great sauropods. This specimen appears to be
Sauropods?
at least 70 feet long, if
Sauropod
not
kid.
more.
It's a Vegisaurus.
The passengers are exiting their vehicles.
They're climbing the Brachiosaurus.
This might not be DPG after all. Oh no, wait, it is DPG. It must be because... Oh, wow. That's actually DPG head Claire Deering. She has come herself to oversee this important operation. Of course she has.
Very colorful
We would
cast.
expect no less from such a tireless dinosaur advocate.
Oh.
Perhaps the armed personnel are here because Ms. Deering decided her
This
group
is the beginning.
needed
This is actually in
some
Fallen Kingdom.
additional protection.
This is canonical,
for this
you guys.
operation.
So let's keep it straight here.
But the Senate has already decided that the U.S. will not get involved on Isla Nublar, so who these men are is anyone's guess.
What a great story.
I can't believe Claire Deering is actually here. And I can't believe she's here with a bunch of soldier-looking types.
I don't know why you're
There's
starstruck
obviously
about
more
this.
going on here than
It's
we
the
thought.
least interesting character ever put
This
to
is gonna
film.
make a
Look at her.
fantastic
She's here.
story. Who should we check out first?
Check out.
Claire Deering or the soldiers?
The soldiers.
Wait, yeah. Was it your guy?
It was my turn, I
Was
think.
it?
Yeah.
Really glad I brought these binoculars.
Jesse just wants to deprive
There
her
are
of the
several
chance
of them
to
gathered around.
talk to the person she
They're dressed in
admires.
fatigues, but
Soldiers are kinda cool,
a lack
too.
of distinctive markings
armed.
indicates that they're not connected to any national military body. Although, one of the men is wearing a boonie hat. There's a pin on it, reading Gabardine. If I'm remembering correctly, they're a private security firm.
Oh, God.
They've been active in Afghanistan, Syria, Sudan.
In the movie, the leader
knows
of
her
them.
stuff.
The leader of them is Buffalo Bill. What'd you do, Reiner? Reiner?
Hey, you said Buffalo Bill and it turned off.
What? All right.
Wait,
well,
what happened?
computer. Open Jurassic World.
Welcome back. To continue your story, say resume. You can also start over.
Resume. Oh, thank you, Joe, for not doing that. You could have been a real
Jesse,
troll.
let's get closer. I want to hear what they're saying.
Oh, God, yeah.
What do you
too.
think? Should we listen in on Owen Grady or the commander?
The commander.
I want that Carnotaurus.
Which one?
Which one? We just saw it. The one that was just here. You get a squad out here and you get it. Got it?
Yes, Mr. Wheatley.
Mr. Wheatley.
What is it?
Recon report, sir. A fishing boat was spotted headed away from the island.
A boat? Really? Okay.
Audio's amazing for a burning island.
But if it's something. Radio Keisha
Carnotaurus sounds like a dinosaur name that like someone who doesn't know a dinosaur name is mispronouncing.
Just great. You know, if they catch that boat, Captain Moore will give us up in like 5 seconds.
Okay, people, time to move out.
This is it. This is the story. We've got to follow that convoy.
At some point, there will be a story.
That was the character. I won't say the word again, but
I'm
the
gonna
BB
shut the
character
recorder
from
down
Jurassic
again.
World.
To save the batteries while we walk. This is Janet Best. The DPG convoy has left the Jurassic World Main Street area, and Jesse and I have been following them on foot.
That's,
By my admittedly amateur reckoning, we've been heading more or less north. Obviously, we cannot travel as fast as the convoy can drive. But fortunately, the road has fallen into disrepair.
Who would listen to
making
this
it
podcast?
impossible
That's
for
what I'm
us to
saying.
miss their
Nobody.
tracks.
I'd probably give it a chance.
I'm filled with anticipation at the thought that we will soon be witnessing their rescue operation firsthand. You know, seeing Claire Deering back there was great.
I wish I could have talked to her.
I'm just so
I wish I could have aimed my binoculars at her
She's out
without you,
there doing
Jesse,
so
grabbing
much
them,
good with her
wresting them
life.
away.
Me, Well, I love Frankly Best, and I have high hopes for it. It
glad.
just sometimes feels like I'm talking to, 6 people, and only 2 of them are listening.
This is
I don't know.
cathartic.
Well,
content is
what do you
not
think
that
is more
great.
important?
It's also accurate.
Making a difference, or doing what you love?
Doing what you love.
Yeah, Dan Tack. There we go. Happy birthday, Dan. You got it, baby.
Well, I do love podcasting.
Now
No
that's
question about
podcasting.
that. Watching inspiring.
If she was
groups
live
like the
streaming this,
DPG,
it'd be the most popular thing
telling
ever.
stories.
Because people would be like, she's totally
I
going to die
love to
here.
observe and comment. Maybe more than I would like
It's almost
actually
as if
doing
it-
any of the things we cover.
Pure audio format is not great to convey the majesty of
Probably
living
happier watching Claire than I would be.
That the world has known for over 20 years already.
Yeah.
How about you? Are you happier when you're observing or participating?
Participating.
Oh, you nasty boy.
Maybe I'll get to do a podcast on you sometime then.
Want some
Wait,
corn?
hold up.
She's into corn. She's into 2-day-old corn.
But nobody's around.
Okay, Ben.
It looks like they headed off
start a
this way,
podcast
into the
where-
trees.
Joe, I'm trying to listen.
Oh, fine.
I have to say, this is the weirdest story I've ever done. I'm used to going around and conducting interviews, and it's just so strange to be hiding from everyone and not talking to anybody but you. Let me ask you
Talking's a
something else,
stretch.
and I swear I don't mean this in a weird or accusatory way, just in general. Do you like people?
No.
Let me ask you something else, and I swear I don't mean this in a weird or
I guess it's
accusatory
me.
way, just in general. Do you like people?
No.
Can we clear with it?
I'm kind of the opposite, I think.
Why did you bring her?
This is
At the end of the day, I'm an
conversation that you have
optimist.
when you're out of dinosaur
About
arcs.
people, at least.
I see you've seen a Jurassic Park
There's
film.
an
Tack.
essential goodness in them. Sometimes it comes out in a big way, like heroes are a real thing. Like Claire Deering.
Jeez.
I think
That lady that got dozens of people killed on that island.
We're really into Claire Deering.
No, don't shoot her!
All right.
Oh, it's like a moose.
Chapter 4.
We can finish this sucker.
No.
I think we're so far that we have to. At
I'm
this
with
point.
you guys. This super
Wheatley, you
replay.
son of a...
Can you do it, Reiner?
There's only 2 more.
Yeah, 2 more.
I
We
got to
got
see what
this.
happens.
We got this.
There's 3 more. 4, 5, and 6.
We're on 4.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6.
Owen!
Yeah. That's
What are you
that's pretty
doing?
rough.
We're halfway through.
Was it 6 or 5?
6. I don't know if I can handle it.
Please don't.
I can do it.
You wield the power
You
to
shoot
stop
me,
it.
and that animal dies.
Computer,
I think we
play
have the-
Skyrim Very Special Edition.
Oh no.
help me decide. Should we stay with Owen or follow the mercenaries?
What do you do?
I don't even know what happened.
Are you going to stay with Oda?
Go
Help me
to sleep.
decide. Should we stay with Owen
Quit.
or follow the mercenaries?
Computer, turn off.
Thank you for playing Jurassic World.
Yeah, we
To
won!
return and pick up your story where you left off.
Dude,
just
I will keep
say,
playing this.
Alexa, visit Jurassic World and
Next
resume.
week?
Maybe. Yeah, that could
a
work.
good idea.
All right, everybody, we hope you were as enthralled as we were in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for the Amazon Echo.
I see the allure of this kind of thing. It's fun to play with friends.
And honestly, if you're on like a road trip,
yeah, it could be really fun.
Because you can also play it just in your app. Like on your phone, so you don't need this just incredible waste of money, the Amazon Echo.
But it needs fail states like that. If it was like a choose your own adventure book where you'd like, okay, let's restart it, let's do something different.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
Well, maybe there's different endings. That's possible.
Unbelievable. What?
I think it also though we were giving it more attention than it needs or demands, right? It's like if you're listening to an audiobook, you're not just like laying on your couch staring at nothing listening. You're like driving or doing something else,
but that's why it
right?
does a good job of like reframing the question, even if it is just the most binary garbage.
I mean, we are not experiencing it in the ideal way in the fact that we're all sitting here staring at it and hanging on its every word.
Go on.
It's like, it's not really, doesn't seem what it was meant.
It's a fun experience with friends, though.
I'm with you. What's your weird idea, Joe, that you wanted to do?
I was going to say, this is like equivalent to like us bringing our recording equipment to like Valley Fair and then just saying like, all right.
That's an amusement park in Minnesota.
We're going on a roller coaster here. Whoa, we're really high.
What do you think I should do? Get the Dippin' Dots or the corn dog?
That would be way more entertaining. They managed to make a dinosaur island completely boring.
Yeah, hang on. Can we leave an iTunes review? Just frankly, the worst.
But it's kind of cool to see like the radio dramas of old coming back and you can actually interact with it.
I'm with Reiner.
I think this is kind of neat.
Yes.
I hope they explore this future more.
Yeah.
The idea is interesting. But when it's actually put into a thing, I'm not sure I dig it.
You were having a good time, dude. We were some good jokes. We had fun.
We did it. All right, Joe. Come on. You can't hate everything on this goddamn podcast.
I'm just saying. I'm not giving that credit for having a good time joking around with it.
I love spending time with you, Joe.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you so much for watching and listening to this overall episode of the Game Informer Show podcast. In theory, we'll have a new episode coming up tomorrow with the director of Anthem. If that doesn't happen for some weird reason, you can never really know for sure, then look forward to us next week. But thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Everything is poop.
Everything I touch becomes poop because I put it in my mouth and eat it.
What?
Think about that.
You eat everything you touch?
Yeah. And then I shit it out.
Input, output, I guess.
It's my struggle.
Go through my tube. Tube being me.
Tube me or don't tube me. Did you know that, Joe, that technically everything you eat is outside your body? Medically speaking, this is how doctors consider it, because it's just like this tube that runs through your body. So everything in there is like not in your body.
It's just like a donut. And if you stick your finger in the hole, you're not inside the donut, you're also outside the donut.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross.
Maybe.
Maybe it's gross?
No,
Maybe
but I mean,
it's Maybelline.
no, but it's not totally isolated because like there are
turns
things that
there's a maze.
No, it's not. What I mean is like the membranes are porous to some degree, right? Like things can move across them. That's how you get nutrients. And
Yeah, but you
so
can
it's
still
not a completely closed system.
Not completely, but you can have like a porous
And also,
wall.
I think it's in your body in the sense that like, okay, think of it this way. Let's say you have a donut. Like, okay, a custard donut, like a Bismarck. Is the custard outside the Bismarck?
No, but there's no tube. There's no opening and butthole on a donut.
If you close your mouth and clench your butt,
I can still get it.
That's not an if, that's a when.
It's closed.
You can't stop us, Joe.
Is Joe's butt a voluntary muscle that he has to like close?
Wait, we're all constantly pinching our butts, or else poop falls out, right?
That's why I don't jump in the office.
Poop falls.
It just falls out.
Yeah. Like horses when they're just.
That's really fun. I bet that's the case for old people. We have that to look forward to.
You'll find
Yeah,
out.
is it, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yes. That's a direct quote.
Citation needed.
What a poopy episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
They all are.